Hello! How's everyone doing? I see first in the chat was Lady Napbug from California, Los Angeles. How about that? How about that rain we had yesterday? That was pretty intense. Went out to visit my my grandmother yesterday, and it's like pouring rain. Let's see. Hello from Nigeria, Puerto Rico. We've got a Germany, England, Bangladesh, Atlanta, South Africa. Welcome, Baltimore. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Jason from Costa Rica. Is that how they say it over there? I'm trying to do my best. Poland and Virginia. It's hard to pronounce these country names using the local accent. It's Virginia, Portugal. It's a very famous country historically, especially with connected to Korea, although through Japan, but connected to a lot of other countries through their trade. Portugal, you guys were like good at trading stuff. Hey, Kyled, hey, we'll just be lurking for today, but my boyfriend says hi, listening while playing Minecraft. Nice. Nice. Minecraft. Kyled, you are our first sponsor for today. Thank you very much. I don't know very much about Minecraft. I assume my kid talks about it all the time. I'll be like, it's enough Minecraft for today. Let's talk about something else. Oh, but then I was playing and I had a sniffer was walking across this. Yeah. Another person from England. Yes. Lady Napbook says, I woke up to the rain. Well, you must have slept in late because that rain didn't start until the early, like 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11. Yeah, 10 o'clock-ish. Maybe you woke up late. Looking like we could get more. Really? It's going to rain more? Apparently, I'm from America. That's right, you are. Me too. Neodim, welcome. Catching it live for the first time. Hello from England. Oh, I already said England. You can't say it more than once. That's cheating. Then I'll think there are two people from England. And everyone knows there's only like one person who's from England. Very small country. Where else is everyone watching from? Let me know if you haven't let me know already. We're going to start the actual lesson at the top of the hour. So right now I'm just wasting time. Just hanging out. We're just chit-chatting. You can ask any questions you have. We're talking about where everyone's watching from. I tried playing Minecraft after about 8 years of not playing. Stuff really changed. It's pretty fun. I played it back when it was a browser. It worked in the browser, and that's it. So I played it back when it was a I don't want to say brand new because it wasn't brand new, but someone had talked about it and I played it in a browser, and that's all I remember is it running really slowly in my browser. South Florida. Condolences. Another person from Portugal. Yes. Portugal. I'm in the San Fernando Valley over the hill. Okay, yeah, that's true. You get slightly different weather depending on what area of LA or, you know, it's all LA, you know, depending on what part of it you're from or where you're at or where the time and everything, it's all a little bit different. It could be like burning hot in one area and then like perfect weather in another. That's usually how you can tell the house prices too. The one that's got better weather, it's like, oh yeah, their houses are probably like 10 times more than where I am. Northwest Florida watcher, okay. Heather says, I'm also from England. There are two of you? That's illegal. Canada. I'm watching from Yanbian. Where? Is that? That sounds like, what? I'm not going to guess. I think I've heard of it, but I don't really know exactly where it is. Where else is everyone watching? They're multiplying. Yeah, you got to tell those English people, you're only supposed to be like one, maybe two of you, but there are already two in my stream, so clearly there must be a couple more out there. I don't know. I guess, though, the other ones are all asleep. There are two that are awake. Let's just keep it down. Watching from Missouri. It's the autonomous Korean prefecture of China. Okay, I've never been there. I've only heard of it before. But I had no clue, like, is it anywhere close at all to Beijing, or is it like on the opposite side? So no clue. I'm from the north of England, so I might not count. I think it counts. England's like really small, right? I mean, you could walk across it in just like an hour or so. That's what I've understood. I've heard legends of 10 English people hiding away. Don't believe that stuff. It's not real. It's just a myth. It's supposed to scare you so that you'll be good. It's what parents used to tell me when I was a kid. They'd be like, better be good, Billy, or else the English are going to come take you away. I'm like, Mom, come on. The English aren't real. Scotland. Now there's a real country. Scotland. Got the Scots. Scots. Bro thinks England is like Singapore. Is Singapore that small? I have no idea. I just know Singapore is a pretty popular vacation destination for a lot of Koreans because it's not that far away. So Koreans will take trips to Philippines is common, especially Cebu, Philippines, I think. And then where else is that? Yeah, Singapore. Sometimes Hong Kong they would go, although I don't think so much these days. Yeah, like those are kind of some popular destinations for tourism. It's actually right next to the northeast border with North Korea. Interesting. Okay. Did you take Jeremy to see the Minecraft movie? Yes, we did. We saw the Minecraft movie the weekend it came out. It was an experience. At least the movie was watchable. If anyone hasn't seen the Minecraft movie, I'll say, you know what? I expected trash from the trailer, from everything. I expected trash, and I was delightfully surprised to find a perfectly uneaten donut on the top of the trash. So it was watchable. It was okay. And I kind of enjoyed it, although I would never watch it again. It wasn't bad. Moscow. England, although actually not hugely different size than South Korea, I think. Is it? Hello, I'm from Mexico. Yes. Yes, Mexico. 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 That's where my grandmother is from, believe it or not. I'm quarter Mexican. And I've never been there. It's not that far. You know, from LA, it's like less than 3-hour drive down to San Diego, and then maybe 2 hours or so. You just go a little bit further and you can get down to the Mexico border. Someday I'll go there, get some nice cheap street tacos and come back up. But then I thought about it. I'm like, really? Am I really going to drive like 2.5 hours, you know, park, walk a half hour across the border into a city area, buy tacos, walk back, and then drive back home? Like, am I really going to do that for some tacos? Like, I could get tacos everywhere in Los Angeles. We have lots of good tacos here. Is there something I should go to Mexico specifically for? I don't know. Besides tacos and maybe going to the original Caesar salad restaurant, I can't really think of why I'm going to go there, but I still feel like I should go there sometime, right? I mean, I said I'm a quarter Mexican. I totally look it, don't I? Can't you tell? When you see me, you're like, whoa, I never knew Billy was Mexican until I looked at his face. And yeah, I'm going to blend in just like, they're going to be like, hey, gringo. And that's what they call people who look just like them. Like, hey, gringo, welcome. You know, so I feel like I have to go, though, at least to try some of their food. To compare, is it really as good as it is over here, or is it better there? Is it special? I got to know firsthand. I watched the Minecraft movie and I got popcorn thrown at me from behind. Oh, that sounds lovely. We didn't get any of that. We only got kicked by the kids sitting back behind us. That's all we got. We can get popcorn. Popcorn sounds like pretty good. By the way, it's a good thing because it's free snacks. That's true. If it landed in your mouth before it hit the floor, then yeah, I'd say maybe you could save money next time you go to the theater. Instead of buying popcorn, you sit in the Minecraft movie during the chicken jockey scene for like 10 seconds and then walk to your movie. Save like $12. Did the theater erupt during the fabled chicken jock? Yeah, it did. But it was also kind of loud during the rest of the movie too, so I didn't notice it especially. I think the biggest moment was the I am Steve part, but that was kind of funny. Everyone was just quoting it. I'm like, okay, whatever. And I can't really complain because this isn't a new thing. I mean, we've been messing up movie theaters since before I was born. Have you ever considered teaching at DLI in Monterey, California? What's that? Is that Defense Language Institute? Are you talking about that? I didn't know where it was. There were some crazy news reports about rowdy crowds in the Minecraft theaters. Yeah, I didn't have to deal with any of that, but I've heard about some of them that were like that. Welcome, welcome. People who are just coming in, we're going to get started with the actual lesson at the top of the hour. If you're wondering, why am I here? Billy's talking about the Minecraft movie, walking into Mexico. All this random garbage. Why am I here? Well, you're here to learn Korean, but we're going to start learning Korean at the top of the hour. And before then, we're just going to talk about whatever. The whole purpose of starting my live stream early, it started as just a way for me to make sure that the internet was working and that the stream was working correctly and my audio was working correctly, because I had so many issues when I first started these live streams where I'd turn it on and I'd be talking for like 5 minutes and no one could hear me, or the internet would just die or something like that. So I'm like, okay, let me turn them on a little bit earlier so I know it works. And a little bit earlier and earlier, each time got more and more early. So now it just became, let's turn it on 30 minutes in advance and just chat with everyone. Courtney asks, when you were learning Korean, was it hard to do while working or with life? No, it was not, because I was younger. If you start learning as an adult with a job, full-time job and responsibilities, then you don't have very much time. And I think if I were to try starting to learn a new language right now, I would have to schedule it. I would have to say, okay, today from this time to this time, I know I'm going to be doing my lunch break. So I'm going to take my lunch break a little bit earlier and I'm going to study from this to this time. And then tonight I'm going to review for this many minutes before I go to bed. I'd have to schedule it. Whereas when I was starting Korean, that would have been when I was 18-ish. Yeah, it would have been 18 or 17. I don't know. 18. I think I was 18. Yeah. Because that was the beginning of the year. So I was in college, but I wasn't like taking it very seriously. I had tons of free time. So I could just study as much as I wanted. And I don't remember exactly how many hours I would study at the very beginning, but I remember for Japanese, I actually had a log. So I would do 3 or 4 hours of studying Japanese a daily that I would keep track of. And I'm assuming I did about the same amount as Korean in the very beginning. So yeah, like 2 or 3 hours just sitting down with the book and doing studying and stuff, because I didn't have anyone to practice with really. I mean, I had some friends, but I couldn't actually practice with them because I couldn't say anything. Yeah, it's hard to get the time to do it. That's why, I mean, the best way to do it is if you're in Korea, because you have opportunities even when you're doing regular things. But not everyone can do that, and you don't need to be in Korea to learn Korean. But you would need to set aside some time to do lots of listening, a little bit of grammar, a little bit of vocab review, stuff like that. And I actually have a small project coming up also in a few weeks, which will be a Korean study notebook I'm going to be releasing for free. That will be a bunch of cool notebook pages. Some people have already seen it if you're one of my members, if you've checked out my Discord channel. But that'll be coming up, I think, sometime next month. What's it like in Korea? It's very like Korea. It's you wouldn't expect, but there's a lot of Korean stuff there. Lots of Korean people too, which was weird when I first went there. And then Korean food? Who would have thought? Yeah, it's really Korean. In fact, it's the most Korean place I've ever been to. That was Korea anyway. T. Dard says, I was practicing Korean and this popped up. Nice. Welcome to the live stream. My oldest is 16, learning Japanese, so I'm envious of how much time she has and is younger, but she's intermediate in Japanese. So 1 Japanese and 1 Korean speaker in the house. Yeah, when you're younger, the younger you can start, the better, because not only can younger people learn languages better, obviously, but younger people have a lot more free time, which is another big reason why you can, which even helps that further. Like, not only is your brain still able to take in a new native language, but you have tons of time. You finish school at like 2 or 3 and you do whatever you want. Weekends are open, you have the whole summer to yourself, that sort of thing. Doesn't really happen when you become an adult. I can't remember the last time that I just like, I cleared out my schedule and didn't have anything to do for a week, even if I go on like a vacation, like what was the last place I went on vacation? Oh, this is embarrassing. I actually can't think of it. When was the last time I took a vacation somewhere for more than like just going somewhere and coming back for the same day? I don't know, but let's just say, okay, at least I remember years ago, I went to Korea once and we just did a vacation there for like a month or something. This would have been like, I don't know how long ago. Just say 8 years ago or 9 years ago, before my kid was born. Even then I was still thinking about what videos am I going to film for my YouTube channel? Who do I have to meet for that? When am I going to edit them? So I was still like thinking about work. But yeah, when you're younger, let's change the topic because this is depressing now. When you're younger, you have so much free time. You can just be like, I'm just going to binge watch an entire Korean drama. I'm just going to watch 100 Korean YouTube videos in a row. I'm just going to watch all the behind the scenes videos of this band that I like all their videos in a row. I'm just going to watch it. I don't care. It's going to, get some soda, get some snacks, just going to watch them all today. You can't do that kind of thing as an adult. So yeah, it's take advantage of whatever free time when you have it. Hi, Billy. Was there ever a time before you got fluent that you ever thought none of it would sink in? Yeah, of course. Because I had a lot of difficulties with Korean, which is what made me want to start teaching Korean, is just because I saw a lot of other people struggling with it and then kind of remembered like, yeah, that's hard. It was tricky for me too. And this is how I got over it. I mean, everything in Korean is hard until it's not. So yeah, I think that if you feel something's like really difficult, I share your pain. I at least not anymore, but I did at the time, learning about passive voice. I was like, so you're telling me that passive voice is in Korean, it works differently than in English. They have different verbs for passive voice, but then on top of that, they use it in a different way that we do in English. So it's like, even after you learn some concepts, you realize you can't use them how you thought you were going to be using them. You're like, well, how do I say that? Not that I kicked the ball, but the ball got kicked. How would I say that? Well, here's how you can say it, but they actually don't say that. And it's like, what? So yeah, there are different concepts you have to learn. And when you first learn about something new like that, it's kind of painful. But then as you realize how it gets used, it becomes less and less painful. And then it becomes kind of fun. And then you're like, oh, this is easy. Passive voice. I mean, it's complicated, yeah, but it's super easy. So yeah, it gets better. It gets better. Adulting isn't fun. Well, it can be fun, right? You get to choose what things you want to do, which is the fun part. But besides that, yeah, it's not. You get all this choice. You get so much choice and you pay a huge price for it. I'm an adult and still watch all K-drama. I mean, you can watch Korean drama as an adult. No one says you can't. Never too old for K-dramas. I still do anime too. Lady Natbug. I watched One Punch Man, but that's pretty much it. That's like the only like anime I've seen in like decades I can think of. Did I watch anything? I mean, I've watched some like Ghibli movies. Does that count? I mean, it's animated. I don't know if I'd really call it anime, but sure. I used to watch more when I was in college before I studied Korean because a friend of mine had a bunch of DVDs. He had like big DVD collection. He just let me borrow them all. But I don't watch anymore. I wouldn't really have much time anyway. Whenever I have free time to watch something, I try to find something that's either like a tutorial video for like getting better videography skills for this YouTube channel, or it's like a tutorial about computers or something else that I'm trying to use for related for YouTube. Or if it's something for fun, it'll either be just completely garbage parody video that my friend sent me and said, hey, watch this, or it'll be a Korean video that I'm using just for listening practice. So Keith says, I'm pretty Peter Pan syndrome-y. Are you secretly Michael Jackson? Tell me, Keith, did you change your name? I've already learned passive voice. Nice. Nastaria says, Studio Ghibli counts. They're classics. I've only watched Studio Ghibli movies, though, from up until like 2004. I haven't seen any after that. I haven't seen a single one since then. So I've heard that Castle in the Sky, right? I heard that one was good. I never saw it. I heard the Ponyo, I think. I heard that was good. And I haven't seen anything else. Not that childlike. Okay, that's good. So you've matured, is what you're saying. Yes, Billy, you're correct, but I'm more mature now. Maybe when Jeremy's older, you'll have more exposure to anime. There's a lot of good stuff out there. He doesn't seem interested in animation so much. He'll watch like 3D animated stuff, but he doesn't really seem too interested in 2D animated stuff so far. He's mostly just interested in Minecraft. So we'll see. Maybe when he gets older, he starts watching more things. Then maybe. I don't know. There are some animated movies I want to watch with him. I want to watch Goofy Movie with him. I think he might like that. I like it at least. Courtney says, my only issue is listening because sometimes when on a drama, they say something, but it doesn't sound like what they said. Yeah, I mean, if you give me a clip, I could listen to it. I could tell you what they actually said. But I will tell you that subtitles in Korean do not match what they say very often. So even if you turn on Korean subtitles, it's really common that they don't match because the subtitles are made sometimes from the script and not from the actual day that they record. So you'll get a subtitles that are saying things they never even said, or it's depending when in production the subtitles were put in. If the subtitles were added after the fact, it's common that they'll just listen to what they said and they'll write it down and they'll make a mistake. Like they wrote down kind of what they said, but they missed the way they said it, or they changed the ending, or they added a word just because that's what they thought they said at the time. Okay, we're going to get started with the lesson in just 1 minute. So let me check if there's any other final questions before we get started. The one. Oh my God, it's the one. You're the one. Just like the prophecies foretold. The one. He walks in. Hi, guys. I watched the top 10 Korean animes video on YouTube. I haven't watched them yet, but they look great. Mada Nihongo hanasemasu ka? Yes, no. I'll still say no, because then if I say yes, you'll have high expectations. So let's say no, and I'll surprise you. Okay, we're going to get started with the lesson. Oh, wait, it's not 2. A couple more seconds. Reminder, there is a active Discord channel you can join. It's open 24/7. You can chat with other Korean learners there. Some natives hang out there too. Ask questions, share media. There's like a book club. They have all this cool stuff that they do. I don't even know how much cool stuff they do because there are lots of channels going on there, and I usually only check the general channel and my members channel. There's also a members channel. If you are a member of this channel, you can join up there and I'll share stuff I'm working on before I announce it. Speaking of which, I have a small announcement before we get started. But I'm not gonna put this in the edited video, so you're only gonna see this if you're watching this live. Even people who are watching this later, they're probably gonna skip this part because it's not included in the lesson. So yes, I have a new upcoming book. This is not released yet. It's called Korean Sentences Made Simple. It's going to be coming out together with a course. So it'll be a free course, just like you've seen some of my other courses that are free. It'll be 20 lessons. This also is 20 lessons. So it's the same contents in the book. The book has extra example sentences, but it's the same lessons, the same everything. So it's an optional thing to accompany the video course, which will be coming out starting the end of next month. And I think I'll put a new episode every week. So if you don't want to wait for that to all upload, this will also be released at the same time. It is Korean sentence connectors. So this has, I don't want to say every single sentence connector in Korean because there are always going to be some more obscure or rare ones or anyway like that. But it does have over 250 sentence connectors and it's extremely thick. So it's thicker than I made it. It actually, I managed to get it down just to like 230 pages, but originally this was like well over 300 pages when I first formatted it, just because there's too much stuff. So I had to like shrink a bunch of like gaps and stuff to make it fit. Otherwise this would be, I'd have to make it really expensive. I want to make it affordable. So anyway, they'll both be coming out starting the end of next month, so the end of May. You'll see it, and it's my newest book, and a course will also come out along with it. Okay. The cheat sheets are already available. Okay. May says, my native language is Spanish, but now I'm learning English, and at the same time, I want to learn Korean. Nice. A lot of people are doing that. They're learning Korean through English because English has the most resources available. So I understand. Okay. We're going to be learning an advanced level topic today. So I have to say something. If you are not advanced, you better leave the chat right now. Just like go out the door. Okay, it's over there or over there. All right. Bye. See you. Okay. I think all the beginners are gone. It's just us advanced people left. Okay, it's actually not that hard. Don't worry. I'll make it easy for you guys. We're going to be learning about a grammar form known as pun. And it's really simple to make. You take a verb stem and then you change that verb stem into an adjective. So what would that look like? Well, you can use any tense and you can use any verb you want, action or descriptive verb. So it'll end up ending with something like this, like nun or un or nian or like that. You know, you have a bunch of options. Depending on the tense that you're using, it'll look different what you add to the verb stem. Let's do a really quick example of what I mean. So let's say we're going to use the verb hada, to do. And let's just do it in the present tense. Well, the present tense adjective form is ha는, pun, and you're done. What if we want to do it in the past tense? Well, we can do han, and you're done. Let's do a, let me see. What other simple verbs can we do? Actually, let's do this. 끝나다, to be over, to finish. Past tense, 끝난, you're done. You can also use double past tense. So like 하다, normally in the past tense would become 한, but in the double past tense, or I shouldn't even say double past tense, but just in the 던 form can become 던, like that. So you have a lot of options. Again, you just take any verb and you change it into an adjective in any tense, and then you attach with a space, 판, and you're done. So, after pun, the way it's going to be used is you're going to either attach a, and then you can use it in the middle of a sentence. We'll talk about what this means in a second. Or if you're using this at the end of a sentence, attach the verb 이다, to be. So that would become like 판이에요, for example. 판입니다, 판이야, like that. So 판에 and then continue the sentence, or 판이다 and then end the sentence. Or you could do 판인데, 이다 as 인데. But that's ending the sentence and just connecting it to a new sentence. So you have options. It's kind of like how when you use the form 때문, meaning because, you can say something 때문에, because of something, I did this or whatever. Or you can say 때문이에요, it is because of something. So it's the same thing like this. So 판에 or 판이다. Okay, I'm going to leave this up for just a second, and then I'm going to talk about what does this form even mean. Heather says, the Korean-made simple books are fantastic. Thank you. I happen to think so myself too, but I did write them, so I'm extremely biased toward them. I'm happy to see this live stream to say, hey, Hope, I remember asking about this a while. You did ask. You are the one who requested it. And this is why I'm doing it today, because of you. It's all Hope's fault. Get him! Stop! Can it be progressive tense? Sure. I mean, technically, progressive tense is actually present tense because 하고 있다 is the verb 있다. So 있는 is present. You could use even, because you can also use other tenses within the progressive tense. So while progressive tense is a tense, it's not a tense as far as conjugating is concerned, because it is just present. But yeah. Something's creepy. What is creepy, Keith? Natives sometimes use present tense when speaking present progressive, depending on the situation. So it could work either way. Yes, it can. In fact, the regular yo form can be used for so many different things besides just the present tense. Like hada into 해요 can be used to say I, like for example, 공부하다, 공부해요. You might think it means I study. It does. It also means I'm studying. Like, hey, what are you doing? 뭐 해요? 공부해요. I'm studying. It can also mean, what are you going to do today? 오늘 뭐 할 거예요? 공부해요. I'm studying today. As in, I'm studying. I will study today. It also could be used as a command. 공부해요. Study. Or as a question. 공부해요? Are you studying? So yeah, there's lots of uses for the regular yo form. Okay. Glorious wrote exactly what you said before you said it. Oh, yeah, good. I didn't realize, I didn't read the chat, but that's what I was thinking is, what other simple form is used in the same way, and Daemun is the first one that came to mind. And then I saw your comment after. Okay. So what is this? Pun. Well, pun is a regular word, and it's used when you're talking about a round or a match in a game. So you might hear people talking about like 한 판, like one round or one match. Like I saw a match, I saw a round. And it implies that some sort of game or activity is going on. So that's what it literally means. But it's used, overall, you can think of this as like a place or a setting. Yeah, I can write it like that. Where an activity happens. So think of pun kind of like, again, it means the match or a round, but it's used for a place or a setting where an activity happens. You can kind of think of it like an area where an activity happens would be busy. It would be like full of people. It's going to be noisy. There's lots of stuff going on, right? It's chaotic. There's just something going on here because there's a match or a round going on here. So a pun is a match or a round, and it means an area where the place where some sort of activity is going on and it's loud and it's noisy and lots of people are gathering, right? That's what this is used for. So if you were to say 판에, what you're saying kind of literally is in a place where something's going on, like all this stuff's happening and people are cheering and making bets and it's noisy, right? Think of it kind of like that, almost like an arena. So in that location where this game's going on is the meaning that you get. And that's also the nuance that you get with this form. The reason this form is, I would say, heavily an advanced level form is because it is very tricky to translate. I struggled to figure out one or two ways to translate this, and I couldn't come up with a literal translation for it, but I did come up with some nuance translations where you can kind of feel how it's used. So hopefully that'll help. I'm going to leave this up for just a second, and then I'm going to give you my closest translations that I came up with. Now, I wasn't able to find translations of this online because there are so few lessons that even talk about this form. It's not a commonly used form. I'll say that. This form is not very commonly used, so don't stress about it, but you might see it. Kind of like amidst the hubbub, yeah. 한판 더, that's right. 한판 더. One more game. 한판 더. 한판 더. That was in Squid Game. You probably remember that chant. That's this. One more round. One more round. I saw it in a lot of video games. You'll see the word pun used really commonly, but you will not see this grammar form used commonly. The word, though, is very common. Like, let's go one round, like that. You can use it for a lot of different things. As like a counter, you'll see it used a lot. But you won't see the grammar form used that much. Like I said, it's just used as a counter most of the time. Okay. So it's very tricky to translate because it's more of a feeling than a literal translation. But I'm going to do my best and I'm going to translate it. I'm going to try to translate it. Okay, first, in the situation where something's going on, or just shortened to where something's going on, I'll give you an example. Let me grab one from here. In the situation where I'm cleaning the house, where I'm cleaning the house, it will make more sense when you see the example. In the situation where I'm cleaning anyway, I might as well just clean the whole house. In the situation where the weather's extremely hot, there's no way I could run a marathon. In the situation where those guys are like trying to sell lemonade, how would they have money to buy a house? In a situation where I'm super exhausted, how could I do cleaning? So, in a situation where is one way to think of it, but that's not a very natural translation. That's kind of more of like a direct translation. If you have to translate it as something, that would work. So it kind of is used to mean like a situation, right? Yeah, that's probably the closest single word translation I could get. But there are some other more natural ways you can translate the nuance. While all of this is going on? Like, come on. Let me try to find an example. We barely have, you're just wasting it while we don't even have enough for ourselves? Like all this, we don't even have enough for ourselves and you're wasting it? Again, in the situation where we don't even have enough for ourselves, you're wasting it? Like, while we're going through all this, you're just wasting it? That kind of nuance is another way you can translate it. Or similar to that, how could you do that when this is going on? Is another way you can translate it. Like, how could you just be wasting it when we don't even have any? That sort of nuance is what pun conveys. Or, I'll give you one more. We're all doing this here and you're just doing that. All of us are here doing this and you're over there doing that. Again, in a situation where, hey, we're busy doing this. Like, this is going on. This is a thing. Lots of people are here. We're busy. We're doing something and you're off doing that. That's another way you could translate the nuance of this. But I don't want you to have to translate this form. You can just say when or where if you want to keep it short. But this kind of helps convey the nuance that this form has. Again, It's a pun. It's a match. Something's going on. There are people. They're noisy. They're throwing popcorn at chicken jockey. Everything's going on, and something else is happening. That's what this form is used for. So let me give you our first example. So here is my first example. That marker is hard to erase, or this eraser just sucks. Okay. Okay, there's a few things we have to talk about in here. First, 양치하다, to brush your teeth. So 양치할 정신. 정신 would be like, in this case, mental energy. 정신도 없다. So I don't even have the mental energy to 양치, to brush my teeth. So I can't even manage to brush my teeth right now. That's too much for me. Brushing my teeth right now is just too much. And in this situation, again, in this round, in this match, in this arena right now where I can barely even bring up the mental energy to brush my teeth. 청소하다, to clean. 청소할 정신. So mental energy to do cleaning. 이 어딨어? Literally, where is it? So where is my mental energy to do cleaning when I don't even have the mental energy to brush my teeth? But a small note about this, 어딨어 is actually different than 어디 있어, although it does originally come from 어디 있어. When it's written like this, without a space as one word, 어딨어 or 어디있다, 어딨어요, like that, it actually more means that something is unbelievable. The speaker can't believe something. So something is ridiculous. So how could I possibly, like, that's ridiculous. How could I possibly have the mental energy to do, how could I possibly I can't even speak. So that's ridiculous. How could I possibly have the mental energy to do cleaning when I don't even have the mental energy to brush my teeth? So I don't even have the mental energy to brush my teeth. So where would I have the energy to do cleaning is what you get. Or how could I do cleaning when I can't even manage to brush my teeth right now? That sort of feeling. Again, like, how could something when this is going on? We're all doing this, so I don't even have the mental energy to brush my teeth. So how am I supposed to do cleaning? Like that. You don't really need to translate this though. I translated it as where, like how, like where do I have, like how could I have the mental energy to do cleaning when or where I don't even have it to brush my teeth? You can translate it like that, but you also don't really need to translate it anyway specifically. You can pick however you want to translate it. It's going to be correct. This is not something that translates nicely into English. I just want to convey that. I just want you to understand the nuance. So you can choose how you want to translate it. Is there a better way you can translate it? Can anyone think of a better way than what I've done? Nastaria, hold on. Nastaria says PayPal donation. Nastaria, you gotta use the you gotta use that alarm emoji like Kai does, so I know to look. Thank you. Nastaria sent a donation over PayPal. $10 donation. Thank you. And you wrote, quarter of the hour donation. I also plan to make your new book a late birthday gift for myself next month. It's going to be this one. I still have to edit it. So I'm not looking forward to editing it, just being honest. It's thick. There's so much stuff. Like it's almost double the thickness of my regular books just because I didn't have space for it. But yeah. The nice thing though, I did something new with this book that I didn't do with any other book yet, and that is I organized it by difficulty. So if you get the video course will have each lesson starts with a list of all the vocab forms that are in the lesson, so you can know if you can skip it or where to go to. But the book has a table of contents as well. Everything is labeled in order of difficulty by a star system that I made. So like if you see a new form, you can see, oh, this one has 2 stars. That means this usage is going to be a little more intermediate. And there's a lot of stuff that's 3 stars. So if you're someone who's been waiting for more advanced material, like legit advanced material, not like how to say if and when, and that's advanced or something, but I mean like actually advanced, you probably aren't going to use it advanced. That's also in this book. There's so many sentence connectors, like half the book probably is advanced sentence connectors, and the other half is beginner to intermediate. But yeah, like how to use like called in for if and when, not the called in for end of a sentence, but the sentence connector one. There's just a ton of stuff. Yeah. And then different forms of stuff, like a beginner version and an advanced version of certain forms. So yeah, looking forward to that, but still have a lot more work to do before I can release it. Okay, so next sentence. 아껴서 써도 부족할 판에 펑펑 쓰다니요? So 아껴서 쓰다 or 아껴 쓰다 means to use something sparingly. 아끼다 is like to cherish it, like you're not spending it, you're saving it. You're being really careful when you use it. 아껴 쓰다 or 아껴서 쓰다. Like maybe you have your favorite pen that you only want to use it for a certain usage. Like, oh, I'm only using this pen when I do my Korean studies, like that. You're 아껴서 쓰다. You're using it very sparingly. So even if we use it sparingly, 부족하다, to not be enough. 부족할, again, this is future tense, but you can also think of it as like would be. So in a situation where it wouldn't even be enough if we used it sparingly. So even if we use it sparingly, it's not going to be enough. And in this situation, 펑펑 쓰다. 펑펑 is like splashing out, like it's used for splashing or pouring something. But if you say 펑펑 쓰다, it's to basically waste. We might say like to blow something, like you're just blowing money. You're just splashing it and using it. For example, like let's say we're talking about money, or yeah, let's say money would be the easiest thing to put in here. So even though we don't have enough money, if we're cautious with it, and you're here just like blowing it everywhere, all this money, just like throwing it all over the place. 쓰다니요. This is a reaction form. 다니요, reacting to someone doing something. So you might translate it as to think that you're using it like that, to think that you're wasting it. I have other lessons about this if you'd like to learn 다니요. It's also in the new book, 다니 and also 니, which are the 2 forms. So to think that you're just like wasting it when we don't even have enough, even if we're using it sparingly, is a literal meaning that you get. 아껴서 써도 부족할 판에 펑펑 쓰다니요. So even if we use it sparingly, we don't have enough, but to think that you're wasting it? Or how could you just waste it when even if we're using it sparingly, we don't even have enough? You can think of it like that. So this is a very long and complex sentence in English. In Korean, it's not so long though. Notice that in order to translate it, my English sentence gets really long, even though the Korean sentence part here is pretty short. So I'll leave this up for just a minute and then we'll go on to the next sentence. I have 4 more sentences for this lesson. So I don't have too many, but if you want to have some extra ones, because I always encourage doing extra practice, there is a worksheet on my Patreon page with an extra, I think like 6 or so, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6. Yeah, another 6 or so examples that are more difficult than what we're doing today. That they're a bit too difficult to explain within the time. So if you want to practice more, they'll be in there. Hope says, is it somewhat old or archaic? No, it's not. It's not an old form or an archaic form. Sorry, I missed your comment. It's still used. It's just not super common. 국가 무너지는 판에 철수가 골프 치고 있어요. The country is collapsing in 철수. You're playing golf? Yeah. 양치할 정신도 없는데. Yeah, you can think of it like that, but the pane is different nuance. Mochi is asking, what's the difference between A and A? Yeah, and Maria suggested watching the beginner course. That's a good idea. Also, to answer your question, A and A are pronounced the same way now, so you don't have to worry. The other one is U and U, which has an E sound before it. So it's U and EU, said quickly. U. So U, U. That's the difference. Billy, could you please post a link to your beginner course? Yes, I can. There you go. It should post in a second. Jonesy says, could this be seen as rude to say this to someone not younger or friend? If you are complaining about them, yes. It's not to do with being polite or impolite, though, by itself, because it doesn't have any connotation of being rude, but the way you're using it could be. You can use a polite word rude in Korean. You can speak honorific speech to someone and have it sound rude if you shouldn't be using it in that situation, or if you're saying something that sounds obviously like you're being sarcastic. Yeah. So no, this one by itself isn't rude, but if you said to someone else, like, hey, you're just wasting that, even though you're using the you form, if you say this to someone who you're not close with, yeah, it sounds rude. Like, excuse me, sir, what are you doing when we do not even have enough for ourselves and yet you are wasting it like this? Does that not sound rude, even if you're speaking politely? So yeah, to answer your question, it could be. 아껴서 써도 부족할 판에 펑펑 쓰다뇨? Okay, next sentence. Like that. Actually, I'll rewrite that little part there. 판의 대청소. 이왕 청소하는 판. So this is a present tense. So 청소하다 is to clean, doing cleaning literally. So 이왕, or you could also say it as 이왕이면, means already something's happening. So if it's already happening, 이왕 청소하는 판에. So in a situation where all this stuff's going on, remember it's loud and we're already doing this and we're cleaning. That's what's going on. That's the arena. We're cleaning. Everyone's watching. Woohoo, cheering, buying popcorn. We're cleaning. So if this is happening anyway, all this is going on anyway, 이왕 is just the already, meaning 대청소, literally big cleaning, but that's how you say clean the whole house. Like, we're just doing some spring cleaning. 대청소를 하려고요. So I'm going to do some spring cleaning. I'm going to clean the whole house anyway while I'm doing cleaning. So if I'm cleaning anyway, I'll just clean the whole house, is what it means. 이왕 청소하는 판에 대청소를 하려고요. So all this is going on anyway. I'm cleaning anyway. Might as well. I'm going to just, clean the whole house, is what it means. 이왕 청소하는 판에 대청소를 하려고요. You could replace this with any other form. You just lose that nuance that this thing before 판 is something that's going on. Like it's an event. It's something happening. So it adds that meaning of there's a situation going on. Okay. How does everyone feel about this form? Do you feel okay about it? I know I prefaced this with this being a very advanced form, and it is. And I know some of you are not advanced and watching. Proud of you guys. How do you feel about this form? I just want you to at least understand it. Even if you can't make it yourself, I want you to understand it. That's more important anyway. Because like I said in the beginning, this isn't that common of a form. It's hard to translate. Hope, yes, it doesn't have a negative connotation by itself. It's commonly used in sentences where you're making like a question where you're asking someone like, how could you do this when all this is going on? How could you, like, we're all doing this here and you're over there doing that. It can have a negative connotation because of the sentence, but it itself doesn't. And there are plenty of sentences where it's not used that way. I just say if you were to look at example sentences of this form, the majority you're going to find are going to be questions. Kind of like that, you know, I'm here doing this and you're doing that, or we're all busy doing this and how could you do that? That's the common way that it gets used. But like I said, that doesn't have to do with the actual form. That's just tends to be how people like to use it. 하려고요. Yeah, you can think of it as just like 할 거예요. Or just even 해요. Simply, I'm doing it. I'm going to do it. 려고요 is just to say I'm going to, I will. It's just to show intention. Alexis says, it feels strange to translate. I would use 상황 instead. I mean, literally, you can say 청소하는 상황에 대청소를 하려고요. But that literally just means in a situation where I'm doing cleaning, I will clean the whole house. Does that sound natural, though? No. Literally, sure. And there are cases where you would want to say, in the situation where I'm unable to help you, well, then you might want to contact this person. Then that's a natural use of the word situation. This is not. Like in a different situation, I would have done this, you know, or in that situation, I recommend, like that's where you would say the word 상황. But this isn't used for that. So like I said, literally you can, but it wouldn't sound like a natural sentence. Although they will understand you if you can't remember this form. Okay. Let's check the chat again. Nastaria says, I think I'm sort of starting to get it, but I'm lacking in some vocab grammar knowledge, so I'm not fully grasping it. That's fine. If you just get the form, I think if you just get the form, like you understand the nuance of the form, even if you don't get the sentence examples, give yourself a pat on the back. Because I think that's a good accomplishment. If you can understand a legitimately advanced, not too common, but not archaic grammar form. It's a good one to know. I've seen it every now and again, but it's really not common enough for me to have already made a lesson about it. That's why I didn't even think about making a lesson until Hope requested it. Keith says, doesn't un and te has in this circumstance? Yes, because te has the meaning of a situation, but it also has a lot of other meanings. It has a meaning of a thing. It has a meaning of an event that's happening. So you can say, 더워서 걷기도 힘든데 마라톤은 무리해요. You can translate it like that. You lose the nuance of having a match around, a thing going on, an arena, like all this is going on. You lose that intonation. You lose that nuance, but you can translate. You can swap any grammar form that I would say is advanced is going to have a beginner level equivalent that you can just swap it out with. You just lose that nuance. So if you were to say 더워서 걷기도 힘든데, like, hey, come on, it's so hot I can't even walk. I can't do a marathon. That's it. That's all the nuance you get. You don't get the, it's so hot I can barely even walk right now, and on all of this, and I think I could do a marathon? No way. Like, you have a much more natural nuance for this with this form because it adds that emphasis, like something's going on here. Okay, well, I didn't even do the sentence yet, so let me do that. 더워서 걷기도 힘든 판에. So 덥다 is to be hot. The weather's really hot. So it's so hot that 걷다 is to walk. 걷기도, even 걷기, even walking is 힘들다, difficult. 힘든 판에. So all this is going on. It's so hot, it's even hard to walk. And in this situation, this big situation, people are watching, throwing popcorn, you know, blah, 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 blah. It's really busy. Can't even walk because it's so hot. 마라톤, a marathon, 무리예요. 무리 is too much. So man, that's just too much. It's out of the question. 무리예요. 그건 무리예요. It's way out of the question. No way. Marathon is just out of the question. 더워서 걷기도 힘든 판에 마라톤은 무리예요. 마라톤은 무리예요. Sorry, I didn't say. 무리하다 is another verb as well. 더워서 걷기도 힘든 판에 마라톤은 무리예요. So it's so hot, it's hard to even walk. So a marathon is just too much. That's out of the question. How could I do a marathon when it's so hot I can't even walk outside? You can translate it like that. That's the nuance you get. Whereas if you were to just say 더워서 걷기도 힘든데 마라톤은 무리예요, you don't get that nuance. All you get would be, man, it's so hot I can barely even walk. I can't do a marathon. It's a different nuance, and it's okay. That's also natural. It's just different. That's the thing with a lot of advanced forms you'll learn is that a lot of people will ask, well, why would I want to use this form if that form already means the same thing? You know, why use many word when few word do trick? Because you want a different nuance for your sentences. You want to say the same thing in a different way. So that's why you have a lot of advanced grammar, which in a lot of cases is like duplicates. It's the same thing we'd say in English, but with a different nuance. And we have that in English too. We have so many grammar expressions in English that are the exact same meaning as like and, but, when, like all of these really simple things, but you can say it in a more, a different nuance that you want. 더워서 걷기도 힘든 판에 마라톤은 무리예요. It's so hot, it's hard to even walk. So a marathon is out of the question. That's too much. Okay, I'll leave this up for just a minute, and then we'll go on to the next sentence. Yeah, just do different nuance. Hope says, even if you don't use it yourself, it's always nice to be able to understand it when you encounter it. Yeah, I do not use this form myself. I don't think I've ever used this form for myself in an actual conversation. I mean, I've written example sentences before, but I've never used it myself in a conversation. I've never heard my friends use this to me before. Once, or I would have taken note of it. But I have heard this form before in games, on TV, in books, in reading articles. You'll see it. It's just not the most common form. 걷기도 힘든 마당에. Yeah, 마당 means a similar meaning as 판. As we said, 판 means a situation, but literally we talked about how it means like a round or a match of a game. So it's like an arena. Like imagine some people are playing sports. So you go to the arena, you go to the 판. 마당 has a similar meaning because 마당 is also like a yard, a place where you would go to watch someone perform. It's the same idea. And there are going to be even more. There are even more ways you can say that. There's no way to like it's the difficult thing is some people want to learn like all of the grammar. It's not Pokemon. You can't catch all of the Korean grammar because there's always going to be another form out there that you missed. You might say like, oh, I got this form and I got this form and I got all those forms. Someone's going to make a new form where they just change the word. They change a noun in a grammar form to another similar noun. And now you have a whole other grammar form with sometimes different nuance and slightly different rules. Don't worry about it. You do not need to become like Ash Ketchum and grab all of the grammar. You can be happy with like Pikachu and Squirtle and Bulbasaur. You're good with that. You can win battles. You don't need to become Pokemon Master. It's not your destiny. You don't need to do that. You can have fun with the basics. You can do a lot with Pikachu. I can still keep that. Boy. Courtyard. Yeah, it's just a yard. Madang is a regular word for a yard. Could be courtyard. Could be backyard. Could be front yard. Whatever. But Billy, I don't have plot armor on my side. That's true. Didn't Pikachu like freaking die in the Pokemon first movie? And Ash brought him back to life by like crying over him? That's plot armor if I ever saw it. You seriously, you died? You can't come back to life by just crying? Doesn't make any sense. I think I remember laughing when that happened because I was like, what? What? Pikachu, you are dead. Ash, you can grieve, but it's over. Get a new Pikachu. Or get a Raichu. I don't know. Okay. 이미, already, 다, all of it. 끝나다, to finish, to be over, to end. 끝난, past tense. 파네, so it's all over already. It's already finished. It's already over. 후회하다 is to regret. 후회해서 뭐해요? What are you doing by regretting? So what's regretting gonna get you? Don't bother regretting anything. What's that gonna get you? It's already all finished. It's already all over. So what is regretting anything gonna get you? 이미 다 끝난 판에. 이미 다 끝난 판에 후회해서 뭐해요? It's already finished. So what's the use regretting things? I'll leave this up for just a minute. No, 이왕 is when something's already happened. So you could, but typically 이왕이면 or 이왕 is used as a more emphatic. This is the situation now, it's already happened. So you can, but you can't just replace 이왕 with 이미 because you're going to sound weird if you say like someone already did something with 이왕. Maybe I can do a separate lesson about a few words like that. There are some words that are added as emphasis to other grammar forms. 이왕 is one of them, and there are a ton of them. How about deal? Yeah. Look, okay, here's the deal. It's already over. What's regretting going to get you? Yeah. Though, keep in mind, 판 is not slang, whereas deal would be more of like a slang spoken expression. 판 is not slang. I want to be the very best, like no one ever was. I used to have the whole Pokemon rap at the end of the episodes memorized, all of them. Gotta catch them all, gotta catch them all. Yeah, gotta catch them all. Used to have the whole thing memorized. Yeah, that was a waste of my time. 이미 다 끝난 판에 후회해서 뭐해요? Pokemon lecture. Times 150 or more to see. To be a Pokemon master is my destiny. Wait, I spelled it wrong because I was singing the Pokemon song. Let's put that a little closer. Okay, let's look at this one in reverse. 새 신발, new shoes. 살 돈, the money to 사다, the money to buy new shoes. 돈이 없다. They don't. Actually, it's not as 없다, but it's asking, it's saying they don't, but it's using with 있다. So 있었겠어요? 있었어요. There was. 있었어요? Was there? 있었겠어요. Was there? Could there have been? You can think of it like that. Could there have been? Could they have had any money to buy new shoes? In what situation? 판에 I, child, 장난감, toys, 도 even. So even the kids' toys, 팔다, to sell. 던, someone was doing something up until now in the past. So they have been, or in this case, past tense, they had been selling even their kids' toys. They're selling their kids' toys. Do you think they would have had money to even buy new shoes? I 장난감도 팔던 판에 새 신발을 살 돈이 있었겠어요? If they were even selling their kids' toys, would they have had money to buy new shoes? Like, come on, give them a break. Do you think they would have had money to buy new shoes if they're, selling their kids' toys even? I 장난감도 팔던 판에 새 신발을 살 돈이 있었겠어요? I can't even say it. 새 신발을 살 돈이 있었겠어. Because I keep getting confused by it's like a tongue twister for me with all the 시옷 letters in it, the S letters in it. It's hard for me. Okay? I 장난감도 팔던 판에 새 신발을 살 돈이 있었겠어요? I'll leave this up for just a minute. It's not a waste of time because now you can get Korean Pokemon cards at 30. Yeah, you can buy Korean Pokemon cards. They're pretty cheap, actually. I remember I got Jeremy some Pokemon cards when we were in Korea from 문구점, like a stationery store. I think it was like 1,000원 or something, like basically like 70 cents if you convert it to US dollars, like 70 cents a pack to $1 a pack for the slightly larger ones, and then $2 for like the bigger packs. Like, they're pretty cheap, which was kind of cool. After all these years, I still remember the intro to He-Man. I know the intro to He-Man. Isn't that where he goes, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, I say, hey. Isn't that the intro to He-Man? I thought it was. That one has the most views on YouTube, so I thought it would be the real one. 있었겠어요 looks like it could crawl away. Yeah, it's kind of long with all of the bottom parts on here. 있었겠어요. Yeah. I mean, you could keep going it on. 있었을 수 있었겠어요. Like, you could go further on. It's just no one would say that, but you could. In fact, that's one thing about the Seoul form. A lot of native Koreans actually misuse this. And while I typically say if people are using it a certain way, even if it's wrong, that's okay. This is one case where I would say, no, it actually sounds a bit wrong. So the Seoul form meaning because, or like you're doing something and then, typically for because, the way you use it is you take a verb and you just conjugate it like normal. So 하다 becomes 해. That's it, and then 서. You do not use any other tense. So you wouldn't need to use like 했어. So you wouldn't need to say something like this. If you wanted to say because I did something, you don't say 했어서. You would just say 해서 and end the sentence with past tense. But you'll hear a lot of Koreans, not the majority, but some, that will use past tense with 서 form because they think, oh no, I'm talking about the past tense. The reason is because other forms that mean because do use the past tense, like 으니까. You wouldn't say 하니까 past tense, you would say 했으니까 past tense. So you'll hear people use the past tense as well for this whole form. But the reason you don't want to do that, hold on, YouTube just like crashed on my computer. The reason you don't want to do that is because there are a lot of verbs where this would sound really awkward to use the past tense. For example, a really common one is 있다. So if you want to say because I have, let me give you an example. You can say 돈이 있다. I have money. 돈이 있어요. So if you want to say because I have money, you can say 돈이 있어서 or whatever, or 없어서 because I don't have money, whatever one you want to say. And then say what you did. 돈이 있어서, 돈이 좀 있어서 새 옷 샀어요. 새 신발 샀어요. I bought new shoes because I got a little money. But if you wanted to say past tense, you would get 있었어서. 돈이 있었어서, it sounds so weird. And native Koreans would agree. Yeah, that sounds kind of weird. So there are a bunch of verbs that you wouldn't, not just this one, there are others too. There are a bunch of verbs where you wouldn't use it in the past tense because they already have a sound that goes through here that makes it sound really awkward. In this case, it's 있었어서. So I don't recommend using the whole form with the past tense of verb stem, but you'll hear sometimes it gets used. Like a common one I hear is like 아프다. Normally becomes 아파서, but you might hear someone say 아팠어서, which doesn't sound too bad, I think. Sorry, I'm writing it messy just because it's not part of the lesson. 아팠어서 doesn't sound too bad, but there are some verbs, there's a good handful of verbs that sound really weird when you stick that past tense conjugation onto 서. So just keep it in mind. I don't recommend using it though. A lot of times though, if people use something that's technically wrong, I say it's okay if people are using it. Just know that you don't want to write that on your test, but feel free to use it. But this is one where I'd say, you probably don't want to use it because it can sound a little bit weird. Okay, that is our lesson. Let me quickly take a thumbnail because I always do a thumbnail for the lesson. I think something like this. Okay, now I'm going to take some questions. So I'm going to stick around for about 30 minutes, 40 minutes. We'll hang out until, on my clock, 3:30. So now is the time to ask any questions you have about anything. It can be about the lesson or another lesson or just anything in general. FIFA Boy says, I'm back. Welcome. You kind of felt bad for the original Skeletor. He never had a chance. Rawr. Nastaria says, my mom introduced me to He-Man and She-Ra, and I vaguely remember wanting to be Skeletor's friend because he seemed like a misguided villain. Kai Boy says, I've never seen these before. Yeah, you're not going to see that. It's not that commonly used. There are a ton of grammar forms in Korean that are a thing you should know, but are like rarely used. Kate says, always fun when the grammar is like 5 times the size of the actual word itself. Ain't that the truth? No example sentence for panida. There is in the worksheet. So I figured someone might ask that. Yes, the worksheet. What you can have is though, because ida technically ends the sentence, if you want to use it in the middle sentence, you could just say pan이에요, but no one's going to say like all these things on pan이었어요, pan이에요. It's not that common, but what you can hear is pan인데, which breaks up the sentence into 2. So you could change pan인데 for all of the ones we did. You can say 양치할 정신도 없는 pan인데 청소할 정신이 어딨어요. So like, right now I don't even have the mental energy to brush my teeth. So how would I have the mental energy to do cleaning? But it sounds like you're breaking it into two separate sentences. But that's okay too. And yeah, there is an example of that, at least one example of that in the worksheet. But all the worksheet sentences are a little bit higher level than what we've done today in the live stream. So I try to keep the live stream sentences fairly simple because I don't want to spend all of the live stream explaining vocab. I want to focus on the grammar form, not on the other stuff that's in the sentence. Like, I don't want you to have to learn tens of vocab words just to learn the grammar form. So I try to pick ones that are really simple. So we come up with like a bunch of them, and then I'll pick the most concise ones that show off the form in various tenses and stuff like that. And then the rest of them will go in the worksheet. So that's what I do every time. It's a very good lesson to me. Nice. I want to thank you for your effort and recourses. I really like it, although I tried a lot of resources and been learning Korean by myself for nearly 5 years now. Is there a word for nuance? Yes, nuance. Let me check if it's a double S. I think it's exactly like this though. Yeah. This is nuance in Korean. Nuance. You'll hear a few words like that. Another one you might want to know. Since this is an advanced question, Since this level is advanced, I'll teach you some stuff I normally won't teach you in my beginner and intermediate courses because I know you're going to be okay with it, right? Everyone here is advanced. 문맥 is context. So if you want context for something, and this is nuance for that. Another one that you want to know, if you don't know, 억양 is intonation. That's the intonation. So when you're talking, 억양도 중요해요. 문맥도 중요한데 억양도 중요해요. If you say something with a weird 억양, then people will not understand you sometimes. Even if you said even if your pronunciation, even if your 발음, your pronunciation is perfect, if your 억양 is strange, it can sound like something else. A really common example, a lot of grammar forms do that, where it has different meanings depending on the nuance. I mean, depending on the intonation. 거든 is a really common one. Like if you were to say 알거든요, 알거든요, 그거 알거든요. Like, yeah, I know that. Just, I know that. But if you say 알거든요, hey, I know that. That one sounds like you're talking down to them if you make the intonation right. 한국어를 공부하고 있거든요. Like, hey, just so you know, I'm studying Korean. Just to make sure you know that. 한국어 공부하고 있거든요. Hey, just so you know, I'm studying Korean. Totally. How couldn't you know that? Are you dumb? So it's like completely different intonation. And both of them are used, but you need to be careful which one you use. So they have different meanings. So yeah, 억양 is important. 문맥, 뉘앙스, 발음. I'll leave this up for a second. M. June asks, any tips for surviving long-haul flights on Korean Airlines? Yes, I have so many tips for surviving the long flight. My personal tip, if you are okay with this, I highly recommend drink a ton of water on the flight. Don't get sodas. I mean, if you want to get like one soda during your whole flight, that's okay. The rest that you want as much water as possible and as little food as possible, because you will get dehydrated during the flight. Because you've probably all heard, but when you're up at those high altitudes, stuff tastes less strong to your mouth, your tongue, your taste buds don't work as well at that high temperature. Boiling. At that high altitude, they make their food saltier. So you're having a lot more salt in your meal and it tastes normal to you though. And you're getting more dehydrated. So what I usually do is I won't order a meal. I'll actually customize my meal before I get on the flight to be the fruit platter, which is not a lot of food. They just give you like a bowl of some hard out of season fruit. It'll be like hard strawberries and like rock hard melon, and some grapes and water and stuff like that. But that's all I eat because I'll drink lots of water. I'll have the fruit and stuff. That way I can have some fiber and some vitamins for the day. And drink more water, as much water as possible. Go to the bathroom a bunch of times. Oh yeah, go to the bathroom before lunch. And then since you finish first, you're going to only have the fruit platter. Go to the bathroom again right then. Try to just go to the bathroom often. Drink as much water as you can and keep yourself well hydrated. I don't even try to sleep because I'm someone who can't sleep well on the airplane. But I'll bring an eye mask just in case if I feel tired. So at least I can block out the light and try to sleep a little bit. I just recommend not getting lots of food. So if you can't do that, if you're someone who's like going to starve to death, at least drink a lot of water, more water than you think you would need. Like you have, I had a cup of water. Nope. Drink a whole bottle and then have another bottle with your next meal. So that's what I recommend. I also recommend don't sleep when you get to Korea. Do not sleep until at least 8 o'clock. Wait until nighttime to sleep. Because if you can do that, at least this is for someone who's traveling west. If you're traveling west to go to Korea, the way that the time difference works, all you have to do is stay up late that first day you get there. Just stay up until 8 o'clock or 9 or 10 or whenever you normally would go to bed. And that's it. And you won't have jet lag when you go there. You'll be okay. You'll have a slight headache the next day, but that's it. Because of the way the time works. If you go east to get to Korea, however, you're going to have more of a problem. You're going to have jet lag when you get to Korea. But as long as you're going west to get to Korea, you're not. So I don't have to deal with jet lag. At least though, just make sure you're not dehydrated. If you're a guy and you need to shave, bring your razor on the airplane, shave like a couple hours before you land. Just drink lots of water. That's what I recommend. Okay, let me see if I missed anything. Sorry, I saw a reason I answered M. June's comment first because they're a member. That's the benefit of being a member, is your name is in green, so I see your comments first. Nastaria says, is Punning Day sort of going with the form that provides a background reason? So it's just saying it is right now the situation where this is all going on. But you're going to do this, but this is going on. It just splits it up more. It's a bigger split versus Pane is just, hey, in this situation, you're doing this. In this situation, I can't do this. Whereas Punning Day is like, hey, this situation is going on. I can't do this. It splits it. So that's all it is. Same meaning, but now you've split that nuance. You've given a break to the sentence. And by doing that, you're adding more emphasis. Hey, look, this is what's going on. Gives them a second to think about it. And then you provide extra information after that, because it does use the te form, which is used for comparing and contrasting additional information. So yeah, you're kind of on the right path with that, Nastaria. Mark Frost says, love your content. Already know the alphabet. Is there a specific order I should follow to learn Korean properly? Yeah, check out my beginner course. I'll post it again. Beginner course that at least you can follow the order for it. Even if you don't want to use that course, follow the order at least. It said, Nikki says, it said a lot of communication is nonverbal. Yeah, in any language, at least that I know of. If there are differences in non-verbal communication between English and Korean. Yeah, I mean, this would be a whole separate, there'd be multiple lessons. Like, how do they do eye contact? How do you do body language? It's all different. Like, Koreans do also body language. It's just different than how we do it. It's so different that we would think they don't have body language when they do. But this isn't something I can answer really quick. I'm sorry. It would be whole lessons about this. Okay, let's see. Keith says, I thought you were going to drink a ton. Mikey says, that's why I ordered ginger ale. Oh yeah, I love ginger ale. That's my favorite drink on an airplane flight is ginger ale. Nastaria says, airplane meals always make me sick, so I have to bring my own snacks. Korean Air, I found has been okay. Their food is okay. But even though they have okay food, usually what I would do is when I fly together with my kid, with Jeremy, I'll order him a meal and I'll just get the fruit plate. And if I'm really hungry, I'll steal some of his meal that he doesn't want. Like maybe he doesn't want like the potato salad or something like that. Then I'll eat that. Or if he doesn't finish his chicken or whatever. But yeah, I don't really need it. I prefer just to have as little as possible to eat. And I'll eat something before I get on the flight. I'll have breakfast, so I'm not going to starve or anything. I'm only skipping technically I'm only skipping like 2 meals. My body's fine with that. But it's better because normally what I would do is I would just get on the flight, you enjoy it, you get the food, you eat the snacks, you get drinks, and you get off the plane, and you know what? You feel like you have this bad headache and your eyes are like tired and you think it's because you're sleepy. It's actually because you're dehydrated. You're like, your body's like sucking all the water out because it doesn't have anything left. You're dehydrated. You're getting like a pulsing headache. And then you drink water and say, oh, I still feel terrible. I guess I wasn't dehydrated. It's like, no, it's too late. You already are dehydrated. You got to wait like a while before you'll feel better from drinking water. So just careful of that. Just careful of dehydration on a flight. That's the best advice I can give you for surviving it. They used to make ramen on flights though. So that used to be what I would do. I wouldn't even get a worry about the fruit plate. I would just eat a cup of ramen and drink water. But they stopped doing that because they said, oh, it's dangerous. We might pour the boiling water on someone. I think they just wanted to save money and stop serving ramen just because it's annoying to deal with. But yeah, you can still get it in, I think business class does it. Yeah, that's what I've heard. You can still get it. But the regular economy, they stopped serving ramen. So I guess it's okay. They can burn the people in business class and first class, just not the economy people. Ari says, do you have any recommendations for places to visit in and around Itaewon? I do not recommend visiting Itaewon unless there's something specific you wanted there. Now, if you're already walking through there, it's fine. It's kind of cool. You get to see it's like probably what Koreans feel like going to Koreatown in the US. It's not like, why would you go to Korea to visit your own country at home? Or it's, a slightly different version of it. There isn't anything there that's like, I would recommend, unless you live in Korea and like, say you're someone who lives in Korea and you really, really miss this kind of food, then I would say, yeah, go to Itaewon. They probably have a restaurant that can make it close to what you're used to at home. Even if it's more expensive, even if it's not the same, it'll be close. But for touring, there's not much there. Especially after they moved the military base away from there was a little bit less activity than there used to be. I don't know. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, though. I just never found anything really special in there besides restaurants. Oh, so Josh is asking about tama. Have I taught this before? I might need to make it into a lesson. So Josh, you got to convince a member to request it for a lesson, because I have so many requests in the pipeline that I only take grammar requests through members, at least until I run out. Let's see. A1H says, can you tell how long people have been here by their body language? Oh yeah, you can tell how long someone's been in Korea. You can talk with them in Korean. Actually, I would say you can't tell how someone's been you can't tell how long someone's been in Korea by speaking Korean with them, because I've seen people who can't even have the most basic conversation but have lived in Korea for years, and other people who just got there like a year and a half ago who sound really good. But you can tell by their body language. Yeah, you can tell by their body language. If they're like, well, then obviously they're from Italy. But otherwise, if they're a little bit more subdued, you can usually tell they haven't been in Korea very long. Because usually people who've been in Korea for a long time have very subdued body language. They'll use it a little bit, like their hands, and that's pretty much it. Like you might see a little bit of their hands while they're explaining, kind of matching what they're talking about. Oh, Kai. Hey, Kai. I didn't see you. Did you just get here, Kai? Kai, thank you. Kai sent over a donation via PayPal of $15. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. I have to check it again. It is. And Kai left a message, said, my beginner self missed all of this lesson, but wanted to drop in and say, hey, Billy! Is that what you really wanted to say? Like that? Thanks for all you do. Thank you, Kai. And welcome. It's good to see you. Luke says, don't go to Itaewon. I wouldn't say don't go there. It's fine to go there, but pick what you want to do before you go there. Don't just like go there and say, oh, I'll figure out something. Like, no, you won't. Look at stuff you want to do there. Like, say you want to get a specific type of food. Like, oh, I really, really want to try an American style pizza. I've never been to America, but I'm in Korea. Well, you can get that in Itaewon. It'll be expensive, but you can get it, like an actual American pizza. Or you want to get like, oh, I want to get some of this food or whatever. Sure. And if you live in Korea, it's especially useful because a lot of the food you can get there, you can't get other places easily. Obviously from Italy, yes. I've tried so hard to learn Korean, I just find it so difficult. Yes, everyone's in your shoes. Korean is both difficult and simple. It's difficult because it takes a long time to learn, but once you've learned something, it becomes easy, like anything else. The good news is, though, you can do it. You just need lots of practice. You need lots of time. You don't need 20 years. I've been learning for over 20 years. You don't need 20 years to learn Korean, but you do need at least a few years to learn Korean to like a fluent, like a really good level. You could probably get to conversational level, though, in under a year if you're like really like every day doing lots of stuff. But yeah, it just depends on how much you want to be able to talk. Autumn says, I know that we can find halal meat there. I was almost reading it like Korean. Yeah, there are places like that. I did go to a restaurant I thought would be like like gyros, like wraps and stuff like that. It was not good. It was like borderline horrible. So I would check reviews before you go anywhere. Check reviews to see if it's actually good or not. The one. It's the one. My God. It's the one. He is the one. Listening and speaking needs a lot of time because I need time to process the grammar. Yeah, and you'll get faster at that. I mean, I'm still improving. My Korean is still getting better. It never really stops. Kyrian. Oh yes, this is Kyrian. Okay, what other questions? Oh yeah, and just a really quick reminder, in case someone just showed up, if you missed the stream, new book coming up. It's not releasing yet. It's not going to be released for another month, probably a month from today. It'll be released. It's Korean Sentences Made Simple, over 250 sentence connectors, over 1,400 example sentences. I should know because it was like 8,800 words in the example sentences. Some of them are really long, but anyway, and 20 lessons covering sentence connectors for the very beginner level all the way up to the very advanced level. So there's like a table of contents with all of the topics you're going to get. Let me just pick a random one. Let's find the grammar. Okay, here's the lesson about how to say while. So for brand new beginners, there's lesson about 면서, 동안, and 다가. So these are the ones that would be considered basic. For 1 star, which would be like maybe like high beginner, low intermediate level, you have 으면서도, so like even while, and 중에, like in the middle of. Then for 2 stars, which would be a firm intermediate level, you have 으며. You also have 다가 with the past tense. You have 김에, like while you're doing something anyway. 길, like on the way to do something. 도중에, which is also an on the way to. And 채로, which is in the state of something. Then you have for 3 stars, which is something in the advanced level, or from low advanced to high advanced. You have 다가, a different 다가 used with conjugated verbs. You have 다가는, which is another different form for warning people about if they do something. 와중에, while something's going on. 가운데, among a situation. I've done a lesson about that. And then 사이에, which is during a short period of time. So that's one lesson. And that's not the longest lesson. I didn't want to do a longer one because it would take me too long to say it. The longest one I think is because. In fact, because there's, as many people famously know in Korean, there are a million ways to say because. Well, I had to split it up into 2 lessons, and each one's long. Let me count. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 36 sentence connectors that mean because in this book. It's not every single one in existence, but it's every single one you're going to encounter. So yeah, there are a lot. And then they all come with short explanations. I made it as short as possible while including everything essential. So I really compacted it. And then a bunch of example sentences. Each one comes with, I'd say, about 6 example sentences that are really tailored to match the grammar form. Some have a couple extras in the book as well that aren't in the video course just for time. And then really basic sentence connectors have fewer examples since you probably should already know those ones. But yeah. 8,800 words in the example sentence. The book has way more than that, but vocabulary words, I define close to 1,000 new vocabulary words. I don't define everything. I don't define all the words. I just define the ones that weren't already covered in my beginner course. So ones that I assume beginners might not know. Everything above there is defined, and there's 1,000 new words almost. It's not out though, Kai. You didn't miss anything. It's not coming out yet. Kai says, should I trust my tutor when she tells me I'm doing well when I feel like I'm totally not saying something 100%? You could still be doing well even if you're not doing well, if that makes sense. Like you're learning, so it takes time to learn. You could be doing it really well. You could be on the right track. You're making a good, your pace is good. You're on your way. You're just not there yet. You haven't finished the run yet. So that's a possibility. I mean, it also depends how much are you paying your teacher. If you pay me $100 an hour, I'll tell you you're fantastic. It's amazing. You're the best student I've ever seen. Pay me $10 an hour. I'll be like, come on, we got to work on this. Let's do it. Yeah, but no, I mean, as long as you're following what the teacher says, I think that's the most important thing is to listen. I mean, you're paying them to teach you. So follow what they tell you to do. And if they tell you you're doing a good job, that means you're following what they're telling you. And give yourself a while to kind of give yourself a good opportunity, some time to feel if you are improving or not. And if you realize, oh, I'm actually not improving, then you can try to find another tutor. Otherwise, give them some time to try to prove themselves. So I've had that too, where I used to do tutoring and I'd have some students that are doing all the assignments I'd give them, doing all the advice I'd give them, and other students that just simply wouldn't do any of it. So your results will vary based on how well you're following what the tutor tells you. Odom says, I like your books. Thank you. You too. Hope said, how would pan be translated here? 북 장단에 맞춰 신나게 버리는 판 소리 한 판에 시간 가는 줄을 몰랐다. Yeah. So there's a 판 소리. 판 소리 is that kind of traditional Korean singing. So like while they were doing that singing, you might say while. MJU says, okay, fine, take my money. Well, it's not available yet. You can't buy it. And the course will be free. So maybe I don't take your money. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. It's up to you. Isn't that like the nicest mugger? It's like, hey, you don't have to. Sorry, no pressure. Give me your money if you want. You don't have to. She charges $25 an hour. Okay. Mikey says, you're doing awful is not a good thing to hear. Yeah, that's no tutor should be telling you you're doing awful. You're just doing terrible. How much will the book be? I think it's going to be priced at $25 in print. 15 maybe to 20 for the PDF, maybe 15. I haven't put it up on the site, so I'll make it whatever the other ones are. But yeah. Yeah, the course will be free. That's right. It's going to be free. And like I said, this time the course is the exact same as the book. The book just has a few extra example sentences. I think each one comes with an extra 1 or 2 for most of the forms, just because there's not enough room in the video course. It's already like getting close to 800 slides, and the slides are like each slide is a paragraph of stuff. So I don't know how I'm going to even record to make this. We'll see. It's going to take a lot of time to film this. Yeah, there will be a PDF version as well as an ebook version, just like for all of my books. Nova Mast says, is there an order I should use your books in? Yeah, you would use it if you got Korean Made Simple. I'll show you. Oh, these are heavy. Forgot. Korean Made Simple, there are 3 of them, and you use them in order 1, 2, 3. So even if you already know the alphabet, you would still start at 1 because the alphabet's actually not even in it's not even in the chapters, it's in the preface. So before you start, you would need to you need to know the alphabet. These are really thick. I know the third one comes in at 416 pages for the book 3. These go in order. You can't really skip past the first one unless you at least skim through it to see if you have everything. And then optionally, but not required, optionally, there are workbooks for each of those. There's 1, 2, and 3 for workbooks. These are not required because the books themselves already come with practice sections at the back of each chapter that give you like an extra 10 or so examples. But if you're someone who really wants more example sentences and more practice, and like these ones have like quizzes and stuff, and, you know, match these and arrange the sentence and, you know, pick the right vocabulary word, you know, all that stuff. Listen to the, there's a bunch of ones that are like, listen to the audio file and write down what you hear. And then it has the answer below and then the English translation for it. So that kind of thing, there are 3 books of these also for each one. But again, optional. You don't need these to complete the other book series. But yeah, so this will be actually my my 10th self-published book, which I'm pretty happy about. I have already a 10th that was published through Talk to Me in Korean, but this will be 10th that was published through myself. Nastaria says, PayPal donation made. Oh, let me see. I'm not sure how accurate to Kai's alerts. Yeah, that's exactly what Kai does. Oh yeah, I see it. I see it. Nastaria, thank you. And Nastaria left a message saying, quarter of the hour donation times 2, and thank you for being awesome. Thank you for being awesome. Oh, and Hopegate. Just a reminder, everyone, if you hated this lesson, if you thought this was the worst thing ever and it made you want to give up learning Korean, blame Hopegate for suggesting this topic. Just joking, Hopegate. It's a useful topic. It's not useful. So glad you suggested it. Actually, it was really hard. And Hopegate says, thanks for doing this live stream. I'm glad to see more advanced forms since resources on them are often sparse. Yes, that's true. The more advanced stuff, it's going to be hard to find lessons on it, really. So yeah, this will be one of them. When people search pun in the future, they're going to find this. There is another use of pun that's really common, though, besides game. There is a counter pun. Which is a counter for pies, specifically pizza. 한 판 시킬까? 두 판 시켜. So pun is used with pure Korean numbers. And it's for counting pizzas. So that's how you count a whole pizza is pun. 한 판, 두 판, 세 판, like that. 네 판, 열 판. 10 pizzas. So if you want to order a pizza, you could say 피자 시키다 directly, order a pizza. 피자 시켜주세요. Please order me a pizza. But you want to include a counter. How many? 한 판 시켜요. Order 1. So it's really common just to use 판 for pizzas. But this is not the same word. Hope says, I swear by sheer coincidence, I see pun everywhere. Once you learn about a form, you're just going to see it a lot more. So yeah, I mean, I've seen this one before, but it's not something I've ever heard my friends use or my friends ever write it. But it is one that you'll see from time to time. Kai says, could you give me a short pep talk in Korean about Korean? What are you talking about, Kai? What about Korean? 무슨 말이요? I would love my dabs. Oh, you want to cash out, Kai? Yes, I'm going to cash out Kai's dabs. Anyone who wants to cash out is free to do that. Put on the dab party. Let's go. Here are Kai's 15 dabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Keith says, Cosma asked a very good question. Cosma, let me see. I'm going to scroll. I must have missed it because I didn't see it. Oh, okay. Cosma says, on which type of book do you get the most profit? Format-wise, ebooks, because ebooks cost me nothing to send out. I'm paying for the PayPal fee, which is like 2% or something, and then credit card fee if you use a credit card, so it could be maximum like 5%. That's it. Books, however, print books, like this one, let's say I sell this for $10. I would make nothing, absolutely nothing, because the printer would take more than that, and then the shipping would take away more than that, so I would lose money. So I think the minimum I could sell this at to make anything is something like 15 something dollars. That means I would make nothing, because after they print it and send it, and then take their portion for whatever. So print books I make less, but I price it so that I still make, like, depending on the book, $6 to $8 per copy of print book. Depends though. Like I'm not giving away all my secrets, but I'll just say it's about 6 to 8 because every book's a little bit different. But this one, I don't know. This one might be around 8 per copy, 6 to, yeah, I think this is probably going to be about the same once it's released. But yeah, the ebooks though, that one I'll get if I sell a book for like $10, like a workbook. I think those are 10 or something. I'll get like 9. So it's much better. But frankly, I don't care, because if I were getting my books, if I were going to buy a book for Korean, I would buy a physical book because I prefer physical books. I'm not a fan of ebooks, but a lot of people are. So there are options. Me personally, I like having something I can open up, put on my desk. I don't have to turn it on. I don't have to do it on my computer. I can have my dictionary on my computer, an article. I can have a chat room, whatever I'm doing, watching a video, and then my book's always open. I can take notes directly on it. Put like little, sticky notes on it, write directly in it. I like that. One of these days, I'll tell you guys, if you want to know, all of the annoying steps that go into creating a print book you'll never even think about. Like writing it is, I swear, the easiest part. Writing a book is the easiest part about writing a book. All of the other stuff that goes into it, like printing, artwork, formatting, like I had to design this cover because my book designer who designed the covers for my first 7 books doesn't do it anymore. So I've had to do it by myself since then. It takes so much time. And then formatting it takes forever. And then, like things like making a glossary I spent like 6 hours just to put the glossary together after I already had a list of all the words ready to go. It's like, anyway. Oh, and then there's going to be a little special thanks here, which I'm still putting together. If you happen to miss that post, feel free to comment on it. I'll try to add it, but it has to be quick because I'm going to be making another print of this soon, and then that'll be the final version. Kate asks, where can I get your books in the UK? They should sell them through Amazon, but any bookstore can actually stock it if they order it directly. Nastaria said, can I cash out my dabs? Yes, you can, Nastaria. 20 dabs? Nastaria's dabs. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I gave you the stars because you're Nastaria. MJu says, I like to get both. It's more expensive, but the best way to study for me. Really? So how do you use both of them together? I guess one, you take it with you when you're somewhere else. I don't know how it works because I don't have much, like I'm more of an old fashioned style learner. So I prefer the physical book, but that's interesting. I don't know how I would use both of them. If I take a guess, that's the best guess I can come up with, is that I would keep one at home and then the other one I would carry around with me when I want to take notes and stuff. Lily says, how do I sound like a native? It's a great question. Without giving you I can't really answer this question without talking for like 10 hours. You start by learning with any sort of curriculum. Pick a book, pick a lesson series, anything you want that's going to lead you where to go next. And once you have a basic foundation, you won't need to ask that question anymore. You'll know what to do next. But in the very beginning, just start with a course. I have a free course on my channel. Other people have free courses. Other people have books you can buy. Pick anything you want. That's what I would say. The way to get started is you get started. Valula says, if students complete your level 3 book, how advanced would you say that would make them in speaking it? Okay, so a misconception is that it goes both ways, but some people think if I just study lots of Korean grammar with books, I'm going to speak Korean, and that's not true. Grammar is going to help you learn grammar. You're going to be better at reading and writing it. You're not going to get good at speaking it just by studying it. On the other side of the coin, other people who say, I'm just going to do lots of listening and I'm going to get good at speaking. And that doesn't happen either. You get good at listening, not speaking. How do you get good at speaking then? Gee, I wonder. Golly whiz, what could it be? Speaking, of course. You have to do speaking practice to get good at speaking. And so the books, however, if you're talking about level, as far as like what difficulty level of grammar will it teach you, it goes into what I would consider the start of the intermediate level up to the mid-intermediate level, like at most is where it goes up to, which is a ton of information, plenty to have full conversations. But you can't just say, if I read the book, I'm going to get to that level in speaking, because you'd have to also be practicing it along the way. So if you're going out of your way and you have a friend you can practice with, or you're making your own sentences, you're reading them out loud, you're practicing speaking to yourself with your limited Korean, yeah, then you'd get to there. Keith says, I think regardless of content, it'll take time to truly process a foreign language. Yeah, I've said this a lot, but no one gets fluent at Korean after studying for just a few months. It's not possible, because there are some things that really do just take a lot of time. What you can learn really quick is just a bunch of phrases. Repeating exactly verbatim without knowing what you're saying, without exactly understanding what you're saying. You can memorize a bunch of random phrases, and you could go up to someone and you could say those phrases you've memorized in order, or change the order maybe, but you're not going to be able to actually speak with someone. You're not going to understand when they start expressing their opinions back to you, unless their opinion is something you've memorized, such as, wow, your Korean's great, you sound like a native, like that sort of stuff. You're not going to understand the other stuff they say. It just takes time to learn a language. So don't compare yourself to others. Don't worry if you're not seeing improvement after a few months. It just takes a lot of time. But one thing you can do is increase the amount of listening practice you're getting. That always will help you. More listening practice is never a bad thing. And like I said, I am still improving at Korean because I keep doing lots of listening practice and lots of speaking practice. Even though I've been going for 20 years, I keep records of everything that I say in Korean a few times a week whenever I talk with my friends. I record myself on video speaking Korean. So I have hours of recorded Korean content from speaking from 2016 when I started doing this until now. So it's been 9 years, almost 9 years since I started. Yeah. I can go back every year and listen to clips of myself, and I can hear, oh, I got better since last year. Oh, I got really good since last year. I can hear that. If I didn't have a record of that though, I wouldn't even know that I'm still improving. But yeah, like I'll talk with my friends and I'll say a really long sentence and I'll stop for a second. I'm like, did I just make that sentence? Yeah, I just made that sentence. Okay, cool. Like I don't think I would have done it that fast if I had said that sentence 2 years ago. So yeah, you'll always keep improving. Okay, any other last questions? Then I'm going to turn off the stream for today. Let me see if I missed anything. Keith said, it's been a bit since our teacher has gotten this much of a workout. Yeah, I stopped doing the dabs automatically because I realized I was spending 50% of the stream dabbing every time. It was like, well, okay, like 30% of the stream was dabbing and 20% was just recovering from dabs that I didn't have enough time left to teach. So I changed it that I'll do the dabs for anyone who asks. Anyone can cash them out. Anyone who doesn't, I just save them. Just for time. But yeah, if you're going to cash them out, definitely at least do it after I've taught the lesson. That way I have, more time to do it. It doesn't make the lesson last too long. Hope says, I'll cash out those dabs yet. Yeah, sure you do. You can do that. Let me change the screen a little bit, get some kimchi in here. I just thought of something really stupid. Go to Hongdae when you're exchanging your money and ask them, Deb, 확률이 어떻게 돼요? What's the exchange rate for dabs? They're going to be like, 네? 뭐라고요? 뎁이라고요? 뭐라고요? Kai asks, Billy, for a first trip to South Korea, do you recommend May and June or October? May and June. But October's nice too. They're both good. Those are both really good times. Weather-wise, it's kind of tricky though. But weather-wise, I would say May and June. Because I feel like in May, it's going to be a little bit cold in the morning. No, it's going to be a little bit cool in the morning, but you're not going to have to deal with cold weather. You will have to deal with warm weather and kind of hot weather, but it doesn't ever get that hot in May or in the beginning of June. It starts to only get really hot like the end of June. That's when it actually starts to feel like, oh, it's really hot. October starts off kind of hot, but it goes to kind of cool at the end. So it's maybe a bigger variation in temperature in October, but it's really nice. And usually in Korea, when I would go during the fall, I would go there during the whole month of November. And when I first arrive, it's a little cool in the morning. And by the time I leave, it's like really cold in the morning at night, but then warm during the daytime or nice during the daytimes. They're both good. They're both good. But like if you have to pick just for some reason, I'd probably pick May and June. Seems like there's more stuff going on then also. People are like finally going outside again after all the cold weather. Maybe there are more activities, more concerts during those months than in October. They're both fine. Billy, are you actually keeping a tally? A tally of... a tally of what? Dabs? I mean, now I've done 40. I did 20 for Nastaria, 15 for Kai, and 5 for Hopegate. Cosmo says, I enjoy the dabbing part. I still do them. You can still cash them out. Like someone can still donate and ask to cash them out right when they donate. Even if it's during a lesson, it's okay. I just don't do it by default to maybe save some time. I'll say Billy sent me. Yeah, ask. Ask them for that. They're like, 빌리가 이렇게 말하라고 부탁했는데. Billy asked me to say this. Billy said that if you ask for dab exchange rate, they'll tell you here that it's not on the menu. Came for the dabs. I guess I'll pick up Korean on the side. Nice. Louisette said, I got here late. Can you summarize the lesson? It's for advanced. Pan means like a round or a match. So it implies there's some big event, activity going on. It's a big deal. It's important. It's like an arena of something happening. And in that whole stuff, in that whole mess, in all that activity that's going on, someone says something or someone does something is what it means. So in a situation where someone's doing this, in a situation where all this is going on, this happens, is what it means. That's the short summary. Is there a stream next week? Kai. Of course there's a stream next week. How could you ask that? How could you ask that? I've done everything to make sure that my students know there's a stream every week, every Sunday. But Kai doesn't know that. Yeah. I think it's going to be, there's one more topic it's going to be that I put on the vote. Erica says, Billy, I recently joined your Patreon. Nice, because I'm in language school in Korea, and while grammar isn't hard, learning to think and organize thoughts like a Korean is, and your videos help me deeply get it. Nice, I appreciate it. I must make up for my absence today. I'm so sorry. There's a lesson. I'm trying to do a lesson every week. while I'm in the US, whether it's a class or it's just a bonus stream. So, but yeah, next Sunday will be a regular lesson. Next Sunday, we're going to be learning about something, but I don't remember what it is. Let me check. It is going to be a lesson about Konyoung. Konyoung. I love Konyoung. It's an advanced form that is super common, and I like the nuance you get. It's really funny. It gives you, it's not funny, but like it can be funny the way that it's used. So next Sunday is going to be an advanced level lesson, another advanced lesson about Konyoung, which I have briefly taught before, but this time will be a little bit more detail, a little bit more examples of it. Konyoung is also in this book because it's used as a sentence connector, but we'll get a lesson about it for next Sunday. Yeah, when I'm in Korea, I'll do streams, but they won't be these lessons. I won't have my whiteboard with me, unfortunately. When I'm in Korea, I'm just going to do, we'll walk around, we'll get lost somewhere. Eminem Twix is not here, but Eminem Twix knows what we're talking about. We're going to get lost, and then we're going to wander around for 2 hours and find out that we're end up at the exact same spot that we started. Somehow, I don't know how that happened. Erica says, I love a video on replacing pronouns in storytelling because while I don't struggle in short things, I do struggle with longer stories and how to refer to people with that. So Korean doesn't have pronouns like we do in English. You know, I, you, he, she, they don't use them as much. Especially he, she, and they just don't exist in Korean. There are ways to refer to that person, them, but you don't have the he, she, and then you is also not really used very much. Instead, though, it's common to use titles. So whatever the person's job is really common in stories, like especially fairy tales. They usually refer to them as the like, for example, if someone's like a woodcutter, like namukun, they'll just call him namukun. That's the woodcutter. They'll refer to if it's an animal, they'll just say the 호랑이는, the tiger did this or whatever, the child did this. So you refer to it by their noun, like what they are, or their job title. Or if you want to be polite about their job title, like the boss or the teacher or the student or something like that is how you're going to refer to people. That's pronouns. That's how you do pronouns in Korean. Cosma, yes, that is the forget that form, but it doesn't really have that nuance, but it can have that nuance if it's used in a casual sentence, which is why I really like Konyoung because it's advanced, but it can be used in all politeness levels with a lot of other grammar forms. So it's not like pun where it's exclusively kind of used where you're like making, this whole thing going on and this is happening. Konyoung is like, it's also simpler to use. So it's an easy advanced form. It's just advanced because it's kind of a more, you can say the same thing in other simpler ways. It just doesn't have this fun nuance that Konyoung gives. Because Konyoung is so much more emphatic. 빌리 선생님 항상 최선을 다하는 판에 카이 씨가 다음 주 수업 있냐고 물어보세요? While I'm always doing my best here, and Kai is asking if there's a class next week. I get what you're saying, Keith. Imagine having to explain at the airport why you're carrying around a whiteboard. Yeah, I get enough people bugging me about why I'm carrying around my camera backpack. Anyway, and then this time I think I'll have to actually, I heard there's something with batteries that you're supposed to have batteries individually wrapped for flying to Korea now. So that's going to be fun because I carry around so many batteries when I fly to Korea. All my camera batteries, microphones, all that stuff has separate batteries that I'm going to have to now take out and put into separate little bags and then put that bag separately. Not looking forward to that. The fun thing though is speaking Korean when I'm flying because they never expect it. They never expect someone with this face to speak Korean when I'm flying, which is kind of fun. Get to surprise people. Z says, do you have any traditions you do when you go to Korea? For example, a restaurant or a park you always visit? Yeah. Z, I made a video last year about 5 places I always visit when I'm in Korea. And there are some places in there that I would say exactly are what you're talking about. So I always go to Namdaemun Sijang, so the marketplace, because that's one of my favorite places to get socks. And I also just like getting the hotok there, just kind of like dough with vegetables and noodles fried, kind of like a pancake. They have really good hotok there. I also always go to Suwon Fortress every time I'm in Korea because it's not too far from where I'm staying. A few places like that. I always end up at Seoul Tower, whether I like to or not, just because it's such a common place to go. It's a good meeting place and it's nice to walk around there. And yeah, I have some traditions. Like, I always get this food if I do this. On days when I film street interviews, I always finish the day by making a special concoction of some various drinks from the convenience store. There is some secret drinks that you can make by combining juice and soda that you can buy in Korea that's really good. I'll tell you one of them, since for those of you who are sticking around, there's about 70 of you watching. I'll give you one of my special secrets. So there's a drink in Korea. You can buy it in the US too, but it's called Milkis. It's like a milk flavor. It has a little bit of milk in it, I think, but it's like a milk flavored soda. It tastes okay. I'm not a huge fan of Milkis, but it's okay. But they also sell little bags, pouches of lemonade at convenience stores. You'll see them next to the cash register usually, or like right when you walk in, there will be a stand with a bunch of flavors of lemonade. Usually they'll have like flavors of tea. They'll have like different fruit juice. And the idea is you buy this and you just pour it into an ice glass, like a glass with some ice, and you can mix it with water or you can just drink it as is. And it's just a really quick, like a bag of lemonade. Well, I've tried this with a lot of these, but the best one is blueberry. By far, the best is blueberry lemonade, which you can buy at any convenience store in Korea. You can also sometimes see them outside of Korea. Different brands will make a blueberry lemonade. Anyway, so what you do is you go to the convenience store and you get a big ice cup. Get the big one. They have smaller ones. You want the big size. And it's just a cup that has a bunch of ice in it. They cost like 1,000 won, maybe a 1,500 won. Usually they're cheap. Maybe just say it's a less than $1. Anyway, big cup of ice. You pour in about this much Milkis. Not too much. And then you fill the rest of it with the blue lemonade. It is so good. Or sometimes I'll go half and half if I'm just like, I don't care. Whatever. It is so good. It's like the blue lemonade by itself is okay. And Milkis by itself is okay. But when you mix the Milkis with that, like the carbonated flavor, mixes so well, and it makes carbonated blueberry lemonade with like a hint of cream. That's all. That's the best way I can describe it. It's better than its individual parts. I never buy Milkis to drink it because it's just okay. And I never would buy this or any of the others. And I've tried it with the other ones. There, if you see in Korea, they also have like a watermelon, there's a mango, there's an apple, there's a grape. They have all these other flavors. I've tried all of them. There's some other okay ones. The watermelon lemonade is okay. Or it's not lemonade. It's just watermelon juice. The watermelon and Milkis is okay, but by far the best is the blueberry lemonade and Milkis. It just goes, there's something about carbonated lemonade with cream. It's just so good. So I always get that. Every time I film street interviews, I always finish the day by making myself one of those. Kind of like my reward. Because interviewing people can be difficult. You know, you talk with 10 people and one person says okay, and the other 9 people ignore you or don't want to do it. And it's like, oh, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to film. So that's my reward. Kai asks, how often does the family go with you to Korea? Every time. During the summer, anyway, they do. If I go during the fall, I go by myself. But last year I didn't go during the fall because I didn't have any videos to film that I needed to film in Korea. And more than that, I had so many projects I was still finishing editing in the US. So I wouldn't have had time to go to Korea last year. This year, I don't know. I might go twice. So Whenever I go in the summer, though, we all go together. Evolving Brain said, you should reward yourself with Taco Bell instead. I don't want indigestion after I've done my interviews. And there is no Taco Bell in Korea anymore. I think there might be one location or something, but there used to be one that was in Gangnam that I went to even once. The problem, though, is that Taco Bell had a super limited menu in Korea. They had their plain tacos. They had their burritos, like the basic burritos, not like their nice one, but just their plain basic burritos. And they had a couple of random like items that you normally wouldn't even order. I think there were like 10 items on the entire menu. Not kidding. Of course, if you go to Taco Bell and they have a menu that's like 5 things you can pick from and 2 of them you actually want, you're not going to want to go there anymore. So obviously they didn't do well and they closed. But yeah, I wouldn't get Taco Bell from Korea, even if I could, though. I'm nothing against Taco Bell. It's not. Why is this glitching? Why is it glitching? Can you still see me? Is this still working? My streaming program shows it's still working, but okay. Yeah, for some reason, YouTube's not even, it's just bugged. It's just glitched. Did they have the Baja Blast? No, they did not. They did not. See? Like, why even go there if you can't get the Baja Blast, right? You got to get the special Baja Blast backpack that you can use to fill up with the small cup that you ordered. Fill up your backpack with Baja Blast. Yeah, no, they didn't have anything cool. Like in the US, you can get like, they have some interesting desserts. They have nacho fries, right? They have like the best thing at Taco Bell, and this is not, I never go to Taco Bell, but if I do, the Doritos taco shells are fantastic. The Doritos taco shells are the only reason Taco Bell was invented, so that they can collab with Doritos and make taco shells. They're just so good. Besides that, I'm not a big fan. If I want a burrito, I'll get it at, Del Taco is okay. They're just as good, but much cheaper. Or I'll just get a real burrito somewhere or a real taco somewhere. But yeah. I miss the old double decker. Yeah. It's not a Taco Bell without Baja Blast. You just need Baja Blast and Doritos tacos. That's it, really. All the other stuff, I don't care. That's why that's why Taco Bell failed in Korea, because they didn't get Baja Blast and they didn't get Doritos tacos. It's as simple as that. It would be like, imagine if In-N-Out opened up in Korea, right? In-N-Out. Insane. It would be so popular, right? But imagine if they didn't have shakes or fries or their sauce on their burgers. Imagine. You still get a burger, still a good burger. Oh, and now it's twice as much. It's $6 per burger instead of $3 or $4. It's still a big In-N-Out, and the company would be like, how come no one's going? I don't get it. Why isn't it work? It's because you're not selling the stuff people want. So I think they have that issue with not just Taco Bell, but a lot of businesses have had that same issue where they expand into Korea and they think just because we're in Korea now and people know our name, they're going to want to go to us. But that's not the case, because you're not actually bringing your whole business. They don't care about your name. They just want your product. Yeah. Evolving Brain says, Kenneth said something first. Can you please explain why lots of teaching materials provide things like que and kunyo? I'll tell you why. Because it's easy. It's a really quick way to answer someone's question. Because you're technically, you're not wrong. If you say, que is he, kunyo is she. You're not wrong if you say this, because they are. And they're used in Korean for literal translations. So if you're making a literal translation of something from English, you would just use que and kunyo. That way the reader who's Korean, they know that this is referring to a male and this is referring to the female in the story. That's why they translate it this way. And when you see it, you immediately will feel, oh, this seems like it's a translation. Yeah, they are used for that. Also, you might see them in song lyrics to refer to someone, or like a poem, to refer to someone without saying their name or their title or anything. It's just a male. It's just a female, like that. In real Korean, though, these are never used. They're only used for that purpose. But because they're so simple, right? It's just so simple to use them. For learners, you can just quickly make a sentence using he or she, and then the learner gets it like that. It's just an easy way to start making sentences in Korean without having to learn about titles, which are really complicated, because when you learn, you can't say you can't say he, you can't say she. It sounds like it should be a song or something. Then you start getting confused, like, oh, what do I say? Well, you got to learn the titles, million titles in Korean. I'm making a song right now. So I think that's kind of why they do it as a quick shortcut. Like, I don't really want to teach it, so just say 그, 그녀, and 당신, and you're good. Now let's move on to my next lesson. I think that's what it is. I don't think it's because they're trying to teach wrong information. I think they just kind of want a quick lesson. Oh, Mike! Milkus lemonade on me. Doesn't cost $10. Thank you, Mike. It's usually about 2,000 to 3,000 for the lemonade and 1,000 to 1,500 for the Milkus, depending on the size. I think it's actually less than 2,000 for the lemonade. Yeah, it's like 3,000 or so for the whole thing, and then an extra and a cup. So altogether, it's less than 5,000, so about $4. I thought you were telling me like this is for a Mike's lemonade. I'm like, that's a different drink. That's a different drink, Mike. Thank you. Kai is saying, I want one too. I'll make one next time. If you remind me next time I do a live stream, I'll make one on the stream and I'll show you. It also looks cool. Out of all the stuff I described, I said it's like carbonated lemonade with cream. On top of it all, because the Milkus is white and the blueberry lemonade is blue, the Milkus is also thicker and it sinks to the bottom, but a little bit floats up from the carbonation. So what you get, and you'll see it when I make it. Let me see if I can draw this. So you have this like white kind of like coming up a little bit. I'm drawing it in black because I don't have a white marker, but you get the idea. And then the rest of it is just all like blue. So can you imagine? It's like white at the bottom and it's like creeping up into this blue ocean on top. Of course you mix it and then you drink it, but it's like really, it like looks pretty, like a fancy cocktail or something that costs like next to nothing. Yeah, I know. You're going to feel like a barista when you make it. Be like, oh, I am such a chef right now, mixing Milkus and blue. And there's some other combinations. That's not the only combination that I do. My favorite combination, though, I have a better combination. There's still 70 of you doing here. What are you all doing here watching me talk about random garbage like snacks and... Okay, I'll tell you a secret, though. My favorite ramen in Korea doesn't exist. It's not something you can order. It's something you have to make yourself. I've never found anywhere selling this, but we'll talk about that. There's kind of an exception, but it's... So Shin-Ramyeon is the most common brand of ramen you're going to find. Shin ramen. You can find it in the US. It's just the red cups. You get a pouch of Shin ramen. You boil it just like usual. And you add in half a pack of the seasoning. If you add in the whole pack, it'll end up, when you finish this, it'll end up a little bit too spicy and too salty. So I say half pack of seasoning. And together with that, you boil the noodles for Shin-Pagetti. I'm saying it kind of in an English accent because you can buy it in the US too. It says Shin-Pagetti, and it's made to be like, it's like a chunjang, what's the word? Black soybean paste noodles. It's like brown noodles. You might have seen the bag. The bag is like brownish. and it's Shin-Pagetti. It's like a combination of with spaghetti, kind of. Anyway, it's a different ramen. So you boil these together, but you use the whole pack of the seasoning. You cook this completely according to the recipe, but in the pot, you also boil a pack of ramen, Shin ramen with half a pack of its seasoning. Okay, it's all cooked. You add in the Shin-Pagetti comes with a little bit of oil. It also comes with some other stuff. You add all that in, you mix it all together, and you end up with spicy Shin-Pagetti, which is fantastic. So Shin-Pagetti, if you've ever tried it, is kind of like, it has like a salty flavor. It kind of has like a tofu type of flavor. Like if you've ever had like the black bean type of dish before, if you've had jjajangmyeon in Korea, it's that sort of flavor, but a ramen version of it. But the spicy version just makes it so much better because normally it's a little bit kind of greasy and you get a little bored of it after you have a bag. But because it's spicy, you just want to eat more of it. It like calms everything down. And on top of it, so we're not done. There's a brand of mayonnaise called Kewpie mayonnaise, which is Japanese. It's basically just mayonnaise with MSG in it. But it's really good. It's better than regular mayonnaise. If you don't have it, you can use regular mayonnaise, but it's weaker. You really want to get Kewpie. It's in these little plastic bottles. It's not expensive, but maybe a few bucks for a bottle. Kewpie mayonnaise, spray that all over the top. Cover it if you want, as much Kewpie mayo as you want. So Kewpie mayo on top of this spicy Shin-Pagetti is my favorite ramen in Korea. But I've never seen a place that sells it. And if you want to make it even fancier, sometimes I'll do this. You add a sunny side up egg on top of the Shin-Pagetti, the spicy Shin-Pagetti. On top of it is a sunny side up egg, and then put put the Kewpie mayonnaise over the top. It's perfect. It's so perfect. It is so good. It is so cheap too. So you can make this. This is like $1, less than $1. This is less than $1. This is a few dollars for the container, but the amount you add is, a few cents. And then an egg, which is, $10. So you can make this whole thing for really cheap. Anyway, it's my favorite kind of ramen. However, there is something you might hear. If you mention that to a Korean, they're going to tell you, oh, we have something similar. Not Shin-Pagetti. Shin-Pagetti is you can get this. Some restaurants sell it. In fact, you can even buy it as a ramen packet separately. This is Shin-Pagetti, like I told you, mixed with the ramen noguri. Noguri ramen, which is like raccoon, kind of. Anyway, so it's like a combination of Shin-Pagetti with noguri ramen. But the thing is, noguri ramen is not spicy. It has like a tiny bit of that ramen spice, but it's not spicy. So what you get is just a less sweet, more ramen flavored version of Shin-Pagetti. Again, I'm saying it in English just because you can get it like that. Shin-Pagetti is not Shin-Pagetti. Shin-Pagetti is superior in every way. Shin-Pagetti is the version that people will tell you is the special version. It's like someone trying to say, hey, did you ever try the secret menu at In-N-Out? Did you know that you can buy a protein burger? Not knowing that they actually have cool stuff on the real secret menu. So it's like, this is like the secret menu, and then the Shin-Pagetti is like the actual secret menu. You can get large shakes at In-N-Out. You can get grilled cheese sandwiches, hot chocolate. They'll customize your burger any way you want. Extra stuff is not more. My favorite is well done fries because they have to make a new batch for you, so it's always going to be fresh. Whereas if you don't get it, there's a chance that you're going to get the fries that were cooked like 30 minutes ago, which are softer and not as good and like dust sometimes. But if you do it well done, you always get a fresh batch. Okay, anyway. Oh, Evolving Brain. Hey, Evolving Brain, thank you. I can answer your question in 10 seconds. It is supposed to be Shin-Ramyeon, but people say it as Shin-Ramyeon because hold on. Did I do that right? I can't actually remember the character. I can read it. But let me check the shin for spicy. Oh no, I did it wrong. Did I? Yeah. Oh yeah, it has the thing in there. Okay. Then yeah, something like that. Anyway, the brand is Shin Ramen. So people might pronounce it as Shin Ramyeon. Shin Ramyeon, right? If you're going to say Shin, remember how these letters don't like each other, and most of the time this letter wins. So it should be Shilramyeon. But if you say Shilramyeon, it sounds like you're saying this. Shilla, which was the Shilla dynasty, the period in Korea back, over 1,000 years ago. They're going to think you're saying Shilla. So to distinguish from that, people will sometimes just pronounce it as Shin because it's supposed to be Shin, and then say Ramyeon. So it's not just Shilramyeon, it's Shin Ramyeon. But it's not really supposed to be that way. You would just read a Shilramyeon. And you can read articles about this, why they say, oh, it should be this way. The truth of the matter is, however people are saying it is the right way to say it. You can say it as either. You can say Shilramyeon or Shin-Ramyeon. I've heard both. I hear Shin-Ramyeon more, but I think correctly it's supposed to be Shilramyeon. QP mayo. Egg yolks instead of whites and yolks. Ah, that's okay. That's another reason why it's really good. And then they add MSG to it too, which helps. But yeah, it's really good version of mayonnaise. You can use it instead of mayonnaise, but it's kind of expensive to use it on like sandwiches instead of regular cheap mayonnaise, and usually don't need it on a sandwich. But if you're just adding it as a topping, it's the best. And that's also how they make spicy mayo for sushi. It's just Kewpie mayo with sriracha sauce. Mix those at 1-to-1 ratio, and now you have spicy mayo that they use for hand rolls and stuff. So there you go. But go to the store and buy sushi grade salmon, which is just flash frozen salmon or tuna or whatever you want. Chop it up, put it on top of rice, and put Kewpie half and half with sriracha sauce, and there you go. Now you have sushi grade, restaurant quality, whatever you have with rice. Michael says, your videos helped me through the 2020 lockdown. Nice. That's good to hear. Making videos helped me get through the 2020 lockdown. That was the only time I could have made my Korean beginner course, was because I had nothing better to do. I'm like, you know what? I might as well just make a free full course where someone can get started learning Korean. Nastaria says, I like the Shin Black Ramen. I've tried it. It's okay. I actually prefer the regular one, but the Shin Black one it's supposed to be higher quality. Maybe I can't tell the difference that much. I just don't really care about it for the price. But it is a little bit more expensive. And if you can taste the difference and you prefer it, get it. I just never use it for making my Shin-Pagetti. Do they have Kewpie packets at convenience stores? I've never seen it. I've never seen that. But you can buy smaller bottles of it. But why? You're going to use it all. Just get the full size bottle for like $4 or $5 or $6 at the local store. It'll last a long time. I maybe go through one bottle a year, and I'm someone who also cooks with it. Like I make okonomiyaki and takoyaki on a regular basis. Like at least once every couple months I'll make it, and you use that for it. So I only it takes me like a year or more to go through one bottle. You're going to be fine. It's going to last a while. Lady Natbook said, animal style is the way to go at In-N-Out. I'm not an animal style fan personally, but I would recommend everyone try it because you might like it better. Now, for me, I just like, I'll tell you my burger order. You got to have chopped grilled onion, an extra whole grilled onion on top, extra lettuce, add chopped peppers, which are the little peppers you get at In-N-Out, but they're chopped and they add them on top of the burger. And then no spread, because you can ask for spread packets anyway and put it on as much or as little or a little as you want, which I think is better because I end up using a little bit less anyway. And then I use the extra sauce packet to dip my fries in. Well done fries. And then I used to get a shake But I would realize that whenever I get a shake and I would share it with my wife or share it with Jeremy, it wouldn't last very long because their shakes are kind of small. So I realized, though, you can get a large shake, which they put in the drink cup, not the shake cup, but the regular drink cups. And that's big. You can share that with another person easy. And it's only like an extra $1. So it's not a big price difference, but it's like more than 2 shakes. So that's my secret order. Sometimes I'll also get an extra tomato on top of that, but it's all the same price. So if you do that, though, and you get like a cheeseburger, it's as big as a double, but for the price of a cheeseburger. And I'll usually eat maybe 2 of those if I'm like really hungry, or 1. Lady Natbug said, Kewpie also adds sugar. Okay. See if YouTube still crashed. Yeah, I don't know why it's not working. It's like broken. Anyway. SD says, after 결과, can other tenses apart from the past be used? Well, it's used as a result of, is going to be something in the past. As a result of having done something is what it means. Not as a result of doing something. This will happen. It's used for, say, something in the past tense. And I guess I'll ask the question back to you, SD. The sentence example that you gave, does that sound natural in English? Would you say that? You would probably say, no, as a result of her hard studying, she did great on the exam. This sounds natural. As a result of your hard studying, you'll do well on the test next week. We don't say that in English. Grammatically, you can say it, but it sounds awkward. It sounds like forced. In Korean, there are going to be a lot of forms in Korean where they're supposed to be used with a certain form, but some people might twist it to use it with another one, but that won't be the most natural way or the most common way to use it. But I don't have a lesson separately on 결과. Like I said, if you want to stretch it there, I have my new book coming out with sentence connectors. Even though there are over 250 in here, it's not even close to all of them. It just has all of the most common ones, all of the most useful ones, but not every single possible way that you can use every noun. Because like, you can pick any noun and use it as a sentence connector pretty much. 이름 모르는 사람 부를 때 저기요, 언니, 오빠, 형, 동생, 아저씨, 이주머니, 이모, 삼촌, 어르신. Yeah. Nastaria says, I'm a beef flavor fan, but I'll make your Shin-Pagetti recipe when I get a chance. Yeah, let me know how you like it. It's a lot, though, because you end up with 2 packs of ramen in 1 serving. But if that's your whole lunch, it's usually okay. It's going to be a lot of food. Mikey says, I have a hard time finding sushi grade fish. Order it online. You might not know this. I'll tell you guys an industry secret. You know your favorite sushi place in the entire world, that they make the best sushi. It's right next to the ocean. They get the best supply. It's frozen. They use frozen meat just like everywhere else in the entire world, including Japan. You do not make sushi with fresh meat because you're going to get sick. There are some types of sushi or items on the sushi menu that you do serve raw, like oysters. You're not going to be freezing the oyster and because you kill it. I mean, although they are frozen, but it's not, like I said, it's not completely sterilizing it. But other than a few things, it's all frozen. Your favorite salmon is frozen. Your tuna, it's all flash frozen, because if you don't do that, you're going to get Now, let me just double check. I'm pretty sure this is the right word. For that specific. Yeah. So, the word, you probably know the word 기생충, parasite from the movie, but that's not really what you call them. You call these 해충, which are like roundworm. Trying to find the definition of what they call it. You get little parasites, little worms that unfortunately live in a lot of fish that we like to enjoy and are totally harmless when cooked. That's why they say you should make sure to cook your fish, but sushi obviously is not. So how can you make it safe? It's nothing to do with the chef. It's nothing to do with the chef's skill, and everything to do with the fact that they buy sushi grade fish, which has been flash frozen. So anything in there is going to be killed. It's going to be safe to eat. They have no flavor. Like I said, it doesn't matter if they're there. So you order it online, you're literally getting the same thing that the sushi chef gets, just minus the sushi chef's ability to cut it nicely and, you know, prepare it in the nice rolls you like, but the fish itself is the same thing. So even if someone lived like right at a fish market, they're not going to take a raw fish and cut it up and give it to you. That's not going to be very safe for most regular fish. And again, there are some things that are okay, raw, like I believe shrimp typically is also just, it's okay if they do that raw. But there's a lot of types of like regular fish that's not safe. It has to be. And I know for a lot of like octopus things, not octopus, what's the one? Oh yeah, crustaceans are all frozen. Like every time you buy them at the store, unless you're buying a live one, they're all sold as frozen and then they're shipped to the store and then they defrost there and then they'll sell them like that. I like added raw onion too. Okay. I can respect that. I like the regular way that they make it too, with just a regular raw onion. But I found that I prefer the grilled onion just because it doesn't make my breath smell terrible. Have you ever tried a kimchi grilled cheese? That sounds good. I have made kimchi hot dog where you make a honey mustard and you just straight up put kimchi on top of a hot dog that has been, you mix it in a bowl with a little bit of extra, I think it was extra honey, and then a little bit of, what was it? Oh yeah, 참기름. So a little bit of sesame oil and a little bit of honey and sesame seeds. And you mix the kimchi in there with that. And then you put it on top of the hot dog and then you put honey mustard on top. It's really good. I've done that before a few times. It was a recipe I think I got from a book. It wasn't a Gordon Ramsay recipe. Was it a Jamie Oliver recipe? I think it was. Yeah, I think it was from a Jamie Oliver book. I might be wrong, but I think it was from a Jamie Oliver book. Anyway, that was really good. Okie dokie. I'd love to stay and hang out, but I have to go study. I gotta go too, okay? I gotta go too, right? We finished our lesson an hour ago. There are more of you. You guys keep increasing. There are like 10 times more than all the people in England now watching this live stream. There were 70 before, now there's 81. What's going on? I thought I've been sufficiently talking about random stuff to make everyone leave, but more of you are piling in. I plan to go to sleep after the lesson, but well, here I am. Yeah. That's enough for today. Thank you for coming, and I will see you again next time. 그럼 다음에 또 봐. 다음에 또 봐.